guys. How is everybody? Welcome, welcome. It is a lovely Thursday. It is a nice Thursday. As a matter of fact, it's so nice outside. It is like almost 60. It's like 60 degrees outside today, which is fucking surprising considering that we're still in winter. So, not too sure what that says about the state of this world, but I'm not complaining. Thank you so much, J-Lip, for the resub. Thank you so much for the 8 months. Oh my goodness, that is a long time. Holy shit. Thank you, J-Lip. That's so sweet of you. And thank you, Nubs for life. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for the I love you. I love you too. Today is gonna be a interesting stream. We did this, I think, only once, where we did like a relaxing ASMR type of thing. I always wanted to do it again, so that's exactly what we're doing today. This stream probably won't be a long one. This might be a 3-hour stream. I don't want to, of course, bore anybody or make you guys tired, so no falling asleep during my class, okay? And I'll do my best, and I mean my best, not to scream, not to laugh incredibly loud into the microphone, which is what I usually do, so I'm gonna try my best to contain myself, and I think everyone understands, if you were a part of our last ASMR stream, how difficult that is to be. For me, at the very least. Like, it's not easy. You guys make me laugh. You guys make me burst out, all the fucking time. So I'd imagine this would be a very interesting experience for the both of us. I will say that, I'm not really going to be teaching you guys, rather I'm going to be learning next to you together. You know, this is a learning experience. This is going to be something that I feel like you and I can benefit from, because we are learning about ancient Egypt. And if you were familiar with ancient Egypt, or this ancient civilization, there's a bountiful amount of documentaries on YouTube, and of course on other educational websites that you can totally look this up on. But we are playing Assassin's Creed Origins. I know that is very strange. You're probably asking, well, that's hardly an educational game. That's more of a, a stealth action game. And why, yes, that is true. One of the many cool things about Assassin's Creed Origins is that there is a tour mode, and where they almost, I would say, to a T, made the perfect, educational, I would say, civilization in, it is just so insane. You have to see it with me. They have, they researched so many things and have done this era so much justice that I believe that this mode is actually used at a good amount of schools, if I'm not mistaken. So there won't be any action, there won't be any blood or anything of the nature. It's just going to be us learning some things, things that we normally don't do on this channel, because as you may know, I am crazy, and it's in the name. I find myself having a lot of trouble not being the loud, boisterous person that I am, so this is not only a test of strength and might, but a test of my own sheer will to not be myself, to relax, to have, you guys just for today to be this at ease, because, I guarantee you, when I'm not streaming, I'm a lot more relaxed, a lot more, I would say, condensed into I would say, an easygoing kind of person. So I'm going to do everything that I can to emulate that sort of behavior today for everyone. Because what you don't need is me screaming right now, because if I scream, my microphone, the mixer here on OBS is higher than usual. So I have to make sure that I don't blow out anyone's ears today. If things go wrong, do we watch Bill Nye? I'm not too sure if I could, under Twitch's TOS, I'm not entirely sure if we can do that. Twitch might see that and go, are you trying to learn? Fuck you. My favorite bit of Egyptian history is the mythologies. Yes, the mythologies surround, I would say mostly a lot of the gods that were cherished, celebrated, and looked up to are some of the more interesting bits of history when it comes to the Egyptian era. I feel like we'll learn a lot more about them today. Teacher Krazy. Please let this be a normal field trip with no Krazy. No way. Well, I am here with you guys. Yeah, you know what? I like that. Think of this as a field trip, you know? Think of this as like a field trip to a different time with yours truly, so put your mind at ease. There won't be any jump scares today. That is, of course, if no one fucking redeems it. Please don't redeem that today. I will refund you immediately, you rat bastards. Can we watch The Mummy later? You know what? I know something funny about that, something funny about that film. I have never seen it. Maybe at some point I might see it. Just popping and hopping for a bit for class. I have an exam later after this class, so I'm gonna miss a bunch of streams, so I hope you have a good time. Thank you for coming in, saying hi. I always do appreciate you being able to, you know, even if it is just for 1 second. It's really nice of you to hop in and say hello. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good time with your exam. I hope you pass it, and I hope everything goes okay. Your intellectualness. Can I use the bathroom? Yes, you can. You have 12 minutes now to go use the bathroom before class begins. After 12 minutes, you have to hold in your shit. Yes, that's right. If you have to use the bathroom by this time is up, you're gonna have to hold in your piss. Just we can't be doing this, Jeff. This is supposed to be a relaxing stream, and here I am talking about, like, quantum pissing. Now, see, originally this stream was going to be, if I laugh once, I end the stream, but that's not happening. I laugh at everything. I laugh when the word pudding is funny. Like, I can't do that. Maybe one day we'll do that. Maybe one day we'll do, like, if I laugh, the fucking stream ends. That might be an interesting day. But, we're not doing that today. And I do want to mention, if anyone is just joining us today, if anyone is just popping in for the first time right now, that we usually don't do this. This is something that is a spur of the moment kind of thing. There is a good amount of you guys following me, new amount of faces around here, and I do have to say thank you so much for following me. Thank you for being here. And of course, thank you for attending class today. I know some of you guys are like, oh, I just got out of college, I just got out of school. I'm gonna join Krazy stream just to learn more. Oh god, this is so bad. But don't worry. Like I said, think of this as a field trip. And I would recommend, if you want to lurk for this stream, if you do want to maybe multitask, maybe you are drawing right now, maybe you have something else to do, if you just want to put me on in the background and listen to the nice sultry sounds of the music and of course my voice, as well as the video game that we're going to be playing today, feel free to, because this isn't going to be like a crazy Among Us stream. It's going to be more relaxed than what we usually do here. So I would recommend that you guys, if you have anything in the background you want to be doing, just want to listen to me, feel free to. I was sick and did not went to school and work. Oh, so you were sick. Okay, so this would be your way to learn for today. This will be your stream. So it's almost as if you went to school, but you're with me instead. Imagine Pharaoh Krazy. Ooh. I think that would be pretty cool. I was, this is, funnily enough, I always wanted to visit Egypt at some point. I feel like the more I grow, the more I'm like, oh, I would love to visit X, Y, and Z place. You know, I would love to visit insert really, really notorious like place in the world right here. Like, I want to go to France one day. I want to go see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I think that'd be fun. I do want to see the pyramids at some point. I do want to see the what is it? The presidents on the mountain. I do want to see that. I forget the name. I don't know why it's losing my mouth right now, but I do want to see that. There's all sorts of spectacles all over the world that I want to go visit. I think at some point I do want to also visit Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Japan's always a really big one for me. Funnily enough, here's another funny for you. I got in contact with an agent not too long ago before I moved here to Maine, and I was going to be a resident. I was in talks with a landlord in Hawaii, and I was going to be I was going to be living in Hawaii. But of course things didn't really fall through. At some point I do want to go to Hawaii again. I want to go visit. I want to go live there. I think that would be a big turning point in my life. Strangely enough, I can afford living in Hawaii, but the downside of living in Hawaii is that it's expensive. Very expensive place. More of a luxury type of place. I definitely want to go visit and see if I can, because we still, of course, have the contacts, I believe, with the landlord, who was very nice, very sweet person. She was so cool. Maybe one day I'll go visit Hawaii. But of course, I think Japan is one of the bigger ones for me. Thank you so much, MK. Thank you so much, MK, for the... MK, by the way, I'm not too sure. I think you drew me some really sweet art not too long ago. I believe it was you. I could be mistaken, but your art is magnificent. Thank you so much for drawing that. Careful with that. Native Hawaiian people really discourage travel and moving there due to effects of tourism on their land. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to fist fight everyone in Hawaii just to live there. I'll be careful, don't worry. Mount Rushmore, yes. Mount Rushmore, that's, I don't know why that was leaving my mouth. Mount Rushmore is a place I do want to visit. I'm gonna think of some other, like, I want to see if there, well, I think, perhaps the, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, holy shit. Rogue Mystic, thank you. Thank you for the, that is a good amount of subs. Rogue Mystic, you're way too sweet. I think I know enough Japanese to get in there. Yeah, for me, I don't know anything about Japan. Like, I don't know Japanese at all. Thank you, your creativeness. Do you guys prefer your M&Ms with or without the crust? I prefer not even eating M&Ms point blank. I prefer any other candy that isn't M&Ms. Rogue Mystic, thank you so much for the 5 fucking community subs. That is so sweet of you. I really do appreciate that. That is a great, great amount of gifted subs. Thank you. I hope you guys are ready. This will be a relatively short stream, so don't expect a long 8-hour stream, because we're not going to be doing this for a long time. 3 hours today, guys. That's all I have. Very busy week. Very busy week for myself, so I do want to apologize. If anyone's been looking forward to more Persona, more Amori for me, don't worry. I think next week I'll do my best to see if we can play that. These past few months have been the busiest. Unfortunately, in my IRL matters, my in real life matters, has been very, very scary, very difficult, but very exciting all at the same time. A lot of really cool private stuff that I can't currently talk about publicly, but maybe at some point I can. But they're all very, very good things in my life. You know, I like to keep my streams and my private life kind of separate from these streams, but I do want to say thank you guys for always coming here, taking your time to visit me, no matter what day of the week it is. I can always count on everybody here to make it here and keep me company as we play games. Thank you so much, Zergs. Thank you so much, Zergs, for the amazing, amazing gifts. Something so sweet of you. And thank you, Sanju, for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Give me 1 second here, guys. You're gonna have a hard time in Japan, at least outside of Tokyo. Yeah, I am not gonna be living in Japan immediately. I do want to visit, and surprisingly, I hear Japan is like really easygoing on the tourists. It's very like English friendly for dumbass Americans like me. So yeah, I do have water here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do a taste test. Okay, want to make sure that the water is not incredibly. The slurping better not be loud. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Wait, let me read that message. I've been stressed out of my mind today, so I'm happy to have a relaxing stream with your kingliness. Thank you, Rogue Mystic. I'm so glad that you can make it here with us today. I'm sorry to hear that you haven't been doing your best, but yeah, today's vibes are gonna be nice, relaxing. No Mr. Pants. There will be no pantsing of any kind. There won't be any memes today, okay? Now let me get some of this fucking water. Do you like Fawful? Do I like Fawful? You must be new around here. You must be new around here. Do I like Fawful? We have played many of Mario and Luigi games now. If I find him, if I find that green fuck, oh, I'm gonna be quiet. I gotta be quiet. So, just so many projects I've been working on, but I'm almost done. God, you know, a lot of my friends and mutuals, a lot of my compadres, they are always so, you know, caught up in their schoolwork and their college work and whatnot. So, more power to anyone who's been going through their phases when it comes to college stuff. So, like I said, it means a fuck ton to me that you guys even managed to make it to these streams. Like the fact that you guys are like, oh yeah, we can make it to crazy streams, and on top of that work, on top of that go to school, on top of that, you know, do all these projects. That's pretty fucking sweet. Did you see the Tetris movie trailer that recently dropped? If the Tetris movie doesn't involve giant blocks falling from the fucking sky, I don't want to see it. I want to see a horror movie where giant blocks are falling from the sky and making people disappear. That's the only way that you'll get me to see that fucking film. Otherwise, I'm sleeping. Otherwise, I'm going to bed. But to answer your question, thank you so much for the 5 bits, Final Fan. I have not seen it, but I think a Tetris movie will be interesting. I can't wait to see Pong the movie. I would love to see that. I do want to see Centipede. That's another really old game. Crushing people with giant blocks. I always love tuning into your streams, Krazy. It's a highlight of my day to watch your streams, Rogue Mystic. It's a highlight of my day to see you in my fucking chat. Like, thank you, seriously. Like, thank you so much for coming down by, always being so sweet, being so nice, and of course being yourself. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't it about how they made the game? I think it's probably going to be more or less like a documentary, it seems like. It looks like that. I do like movies like that, though, that go into the discussion of, like, video game, like, creativity. There's some really cool, like, I think they call themselves No Clip on YouTube. They kind of discuss some of the background elements to the gaming development process of old school games, which is fun. I think one of my favorite No Clip documentaries involves Half-Life. Love Half-Life so much. It's kind of like a game that I play on my own. Not too sure if I'll ever stream Black Mesa or Half-Life 2, because we tried playing Half-Life Alyx. Maybe I'll stream Half-Life 2, because I love Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 is so cool, dude. Like Crazy streams are a perfect blend of laid back and chaos. I'm so glad I found the channel last year. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we have you here. Glad that you're sticking around. It's nice to see you. Give me 1 second here. We're gonna be starting here in 10 seconds. I don't think I'm gonna be doing an intro. Yeah, you know what? Because that intro was loud as fuck. Hopefully when we transition into a different scene, it doesn't do that. Yeah, you know what? Give me 1 second here. I want to make sure that intro does not play, because that intro is going to go and I don't want you guys to have to listen to that. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Hey guys, sorry no intro today. How is everyone? Hello, welcome. Just pretend there is an intro there. Just pretend that there was an intro there, because it's usually loud as fuck, and I don't want anyone to be startled by that. So how is everyone doing this fine afternoon? Hello, hi, it's nice to see you. Hey there, a thirsty friend reminded me I should your stream to watch some Security Breeze Rod and had some fun. It's nice to see you, buddy. Nice to see you. You keep your thirst satiated with some water, okay? You keep your thirst satiated with some agua. I don't satiate your thirst. I make you dry. Haunts. It's nice to see everyone today. I want to say thank you so much for joining my stream. It's going to be relaxing. I'm going to do my best not to go as crazy as I usually do. And we're going to be learning. Yeah, that's right. You're probably wondering, what the fuck? you're probably like, crazy. I just got out of college to come here and relax. Okay? I've been learning for 24 hours straight. Why the fuck are you streaming an educational stream? And if you're saying that to yourself right now, I want you to realize something. Fucking relax. Jeez, just relax, please. I work real hard, and I can't do this bit. Just understand that this is more of a filter. This is gonna be more of a filter for you and I. This is not gonna be like, oh, Krazy's talking about boring, stupid shit. Oh my god, he's gonna educate us about the equations and teach us how to do taxes. Don't worry, none of that today. Because we are playing Assassin's Creed Origins, and if you're just joining us today, I do want to mention one more time that this won't be a long stream. This might be a 3-hour stream. I always like to do different things here and there. I think that's the biggest compliment that you guys gave me. The biggest compliment that someone gave me in my chat was like, I love the fact that you are always doing a variety of different things. And I enjoy that, you know, that was a really nice compliment. I do respect, I gotta say, whoever said that, I love and respect you. Because I like to keep the element of surprise on my side when it comes to these streams. Maybe one day we'll do this, maybe one day we'll do that. So I thought it would be fun to sit down and say, hey, we've never done this before. Let's try doing an educational stream. Now, we never did something like this at all. We've done ASMR before. We've done ASMR one time, and it wasn't really ASMR because I was laughing my fucking ass off. So, I would like to learn how to do taxes. You know what's funny? Once you get down to the bare basics of taxes, it just boils down to giving your money to the government. That's it. You just give your money to someone else in the most complicated fucking way. It's so stupid. Other countries do it just fine, but if you live in America, it's annoying. I wish there was an easier way just to give these assholes my fucking money. Like, just here, take my shit. But let's not dilly-dally now. Why don't we get right into it, okay? So what I'm gonna do, you're not gonna say hello to Todd and Aaron, because Todd and Aaron are loud as fuck. So, I love learning, so I don't care. I'm glad that you like learning, because I'm not gonna be teaching anyone today. Rather, I'm gonna be learning with you, aside from you. Once again, it's like a field trip. Think of it that way. Even in your gnarliness. It's nice to see you, so give me 1 second here. Let me turn on my controller very fast. And let me turn down the gay music. And let me turn on the other gay music. There we go, that's nice. Let's turn this off. Hold on, I'm just setting things up. Todd and Aaron are going to be relaxing in their own humble abode for today. Because a lot of my scenes are loud. Okay, let me turn this up. I'm pretty sure you guys can hear that, right? And let's switch scenes here. Let's go to the gaming room now. Here we go, here we go, here we go. And there I am. Hi, guys. I don't know why OBS made me a ghost for a second. That was very strange. Okay, so welcome. Who the hell and Todd or Aaron? Your parents. Your fucking parents. Let's see. Okay, guys, so here we are. with... Oh, that music's nice. I like that. I've always wondered, what is the white circle in the background? It's a donut. So here we are. I gotta say that this is probably one of the stronger elements in this game. If you played Assassin's Creed Origins, then you probably already know that it is quite the beautiful game. Look at this. I kind of almost wanted to like explore a little bit, you know. The song is not helping at all, keeping me awake. Yeah, if you end up falling asleep, if you end up going to bed this stream, if you just want to lurk and put this on in the background, feel free to. No hard feelings, no hard feelings. If you want to knock the fuck out, knock out. Wow. Thank you so much, Hybrid. Thank you so much, Hybrid, for the follow. Welcome. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to run our asses over here, and we are going to begin our first discovery. Alexandria, planning of the city. Learn about the design and layout of the city of Alexandria. 6 minutes. Okay. Hey, Krazy. How you doing, Sansfrog? How you doing?
Welcome to Alexandria, planning of the city.
Alright, let's begin. Let's see. Let's go right here.
Alexander's plan to build his great city began with a verse from Homer's Odyssey. There is, in front of Egypt, in the sea with many swells, an island called Pharos. Guided by these clues, Alexander the Great founded his future city at the western end of the Nile Delta.
Wow. This guy's name was Alexander the Great. He was pretty great, to be honest. A little factoid about Egyptian royalty, that there was indeed a pharaoh that indeed was gay and was buried with his lover. The name slips my mind, but they were visuals of them together and their tomb was built like how lovers / married folk were built. That's pretty nice. That's pretty fucking cool, I have to say. Okay. Wow, that I gotta say, look at the structure like this. There are times where I like think about like civilization, modern day civilization lacks like a good amount of like monoliths and like structures of this nature. Like it's far gone now. Like I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a silly American. I have never really been to other beautiful places in the world, but I would fucking die to see something like this. Like look at that. Makes me wonder sometimes if I were to like spend one day in Egypt back in the day, like what would I do? Where would I go?
Though Alexander considered this location ideal for his great city, it presented considerable challenges. Too difficult to access during storms, the surrounding swamps threatened disease, and the limestone soil prevented the growth of healthy crops. However, due to the influence of his mentor Aristotle, Alexander the Great recognized that the true value was its strategic emplacement. Alexander knew that in controlling Pelusium to the east, Memphis to the south, and his crowning glory Alexandria to the west, he would create a triangular stronghold, allowing him to control the entire delta while giving him access to the Mediterranean.
Is there a subtitle option? You know what? Good question. Let's check that out real quick. I'm not too sure if there is or not. Let's see. So Alexander basically was like, okay guys, we need to place this directly right here because there's a lot of elements surrounding this area that will benefit us when creating a civilization. I don't think there is, unfortunately. Let me see something. Oh my goodness, that is... I have a hard time hearing the voice, too, not yours. Oh, do you want me to turn it up for you guys? I can turn it up for you guys, hold on. Here, I'll turn it up a little bit. There we go. That is absolutely gorgeous. Subtitles might be helpful because I get the guts not to have English as main language. Yeah, let me see. Let me see. Hold on. Where could I... Here's our character. What is this character? We be, oh my god, Cleopatra? Can we be fucking, dude, we can be Cleopatra, what the fuck, are you serious? Oh my god, I'm Cleopatra, holy shit. Oh, let me see something. Options. Sound. Language. Subtitle display on. Hopefully we can get some subs for you guys. Maybe. Oh. Subtitle speaker name. Subtitle background. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that is. Wait, now we're Cleopatra, dude. It's fucking great. Alright. Oh, she can run. Holy shit.
The Great Walls of Alexandria had a humble beginning. Lacking chalk to outline the future city's foundations, architects were forced to use flour instead. Clouds of migrating birds swept down and ate the flour, erasing the plans. This prompted Alexander to seek guidance from the oracles, who reassured him that his future city was destined to feed a large population.
Wow, imagine that. Imagine having, like, the prospect of your future being within the hands of one person. That's honestly kind of scary and a lot to take in. Like, holy shit.
Excavations led by Mahmud Bey el-Falaki in the 19th century revealed that the wall enclosure measured approximately 5.2 kilometers in length and 2.2 kilometers in width. It was roughly 9 meters in height.
That is a thick-ass building. That's a chunker right there. That's a big one. Holy shit. Ain't no one scaling those bitches anytime soon. Those things are big, very big. Let's make our way over here. Wow, look at this area. God.
These formidable ancient walls would resist a number of attacks, including fending off the king of Syria in 169 BCE. It wasn't until 295 CE that they eventually fell to Roman Emperor Diocletian, and this only after 8 months of relentless assault.
Dude, are you telling me that beef goes that far back? Like, turmoil was so well documented in 259 BCE that it, like, shit went down, and that's now in the history books. Like, it will. That is now history. If you have beef with someone, just remember, like, it goes that far back. Like, holy shit, hella far back. Humans are grudgeful people. That's insane to me. I'm like, damn, y'all, you need to let that shit go. We're talking about 259 BCE now. Like, holy shit.
Alexandria's principal architect, Dinocrates, chose a Hippodamian grid plan. The grid maximized functionality, with wide, straight roads and canals running beneath them. Alexander recognized the military value of the city's design. The wide, parallel streets gave him optimal surveillance of the city, while allowing the unobstructed flow of troops.
Wow, that is impressive. So the whole area was basically, like, you know, structured in a way where higher-ups can basically just have a vast lay of the land, making sure that no, you know, I guess tomfoolery, foolishness is bound to happen, but okay, cool. I don't think we study these things properly here back in the school days, despite me living in the heart of the Roman Empire. Alright, let's continue. Wow.
A central corridor ran from the Mediterranean's north port down to Lake Mareotis to the south. This thoroughfare acted as an unobstructed link for commercial trade and travel between the two ports. Many of the streets were bordered with grand buildings and parks, including Canopic Street, with its impressive gate bordering the eastern end.
Man, that is really impressive, I have to say. Like, I feel like they utilized so many things to their benefit way back in the day, too. Like, everything just seems so, like, you know, it just seemed like to me. Like, I feel like in this day and age we still use a lot of the sea itself, and structures of this nature still do exist, but back then it was like especially a marvel. Truly beautiful, truly beautiful. They cultivated the plant a lot. Yeah, it definitely seemed like that. Like, these guys had their shit together.
Alexandria was most likely built upon an already existing Egyptian village. Upon its completion, the Egyptians reviled the city, refusing to call it by its founder's name. Instead, they called it Raked, the building, as a mark of disdain, which was later Hellenized into Rakotis. Despite this, the name Alexandria would remain.
So that's interesting. So it was a choice to call it Alexandria, despite it not being, you know, with it. What's this? You can now explore ancient Egypt as your own place, or select this button to choose a new tour by opening the pause menu. Okay. So basically, we just finished our first lesson, guys. Holy shit. The building, the one and only building. The makers behind this game did the research. They absolutely did. Ooh, look at this place at night. Oh my goodness. This place at night is really cool. I think it's the kind of stuff, like, I would love to be able to have a night just to walk around this era, you know? Because it seems very well guarded, and almost like, I'm not too sure how crime was back then, if that was even considered, what crime was considered back then. But I have to know, because look at this child running around late at this night. Like, that can't run, you can't do that now. If you're a kid late at this hour, you're gonna get snagged up by some awful person. You can't do that anymore, you know? Amazing how the aliens made all of this. I think it's not just aliens. It's more or less, you know, human, I would say, society evolving and growing over time. Horse. Horses. Alright. Let's try this. Ooh, pretty. Whoa.
Welcome to the Serapion of Alexandria.
Okay, suddenly it's morning now. Okay, let's go up these steps. Wow. Oh my god damn, son. He is hitting that shit. Look at that pose. Oh my goodness. Alright. Science fiction, horror, and history-centric games have always been habituated with facts to make things more close to accuracy. Yes, that's correct. Wow. This is eye candy at this point. Oh my goodness. Let's see.
In a city of numerous magnificent attractions,
Wow.
the Serapion was considered to be the most beautiful temple of Alexandria. Located southwest of the city on a small hill known as the Acropolis, the sanctuary was constructed during the reign of Ptolemy III, upon foundations which had existed since the reign of Ptolemy I Soter.
Man. Like, you know that shit goes way back when they start including numbers next to bitches' names, like Solitaire the First, the Second. No, we're talking about the third of his kind. Like, damn, son. Okay, like, how far back does this shit go? Oh. Oh my goodness. Damn. I really want to know how accurate all this stuff really is, because it seems to be very confident in, like, the way that they have these statues up and everything. Look at all these statues. My fucking fat ass would have such a hard time going up these bitches. Oh my god. There we go. Yo, let's go. Oh, that's copyrighted Twitch music. We gotta go the other way. Okay, let's go this way. Hold on. Ooh, let's see.
Visitors of the Serapion climbed 100 steps to reach the courtyard. Libraries were installed in the porticos surrounding the square building, with its roof and columns adorned with gold and gilded bronze. Pharaohs were generous to the temple, as were several Roman emperors after Egypt's conquest. An inner temple housed the statue of Serapis, dedicated to healing the sick.
Did she just say 100 steps? I know she did not just say 100 steps. Like I said, my fat ass, I can shit, I go up 6 steps in my, I'm huffing and puffing because I'm a big motherfucker. Like, I huff and puff. That boy breathing. 100 steps, my ass. Shit. What kind of legs they have back then? Making it up all them steps. Shit, not me. I cannot go up there. They had copyright in the 3rd century too. Oh, fuck. Let's see.
Since the 26th dynasty, Greeks in Egypt had gradually integrated the Egyptian cult of the Apis bull to their own rituals. With the establishment of the Ptolemaic dynasty, the cult of Apis was further integrated into Greek religion. During his rule, Ptolemy I chose to merge Egyptian and Hellenic gods into a syncretic divinity named Serapis. This name was the result of the amalgamation of Osiris and Apis. With this new deity, the Ptolemaic dynasty managed to accommodate similar belief sets for 2 different cultures, bringing about a new dynastic cult.
Let's see. Wow, look at that. That looks really cool. Alright, let's go this way. If Kratos was here, yikes. But thank God he's only fucking fictional. Oh my goodness. Let's see.
Serapis was also associated to other deities, including Asclepius, a Greek god of healing. It is possible that, as with the Serapis Temple of Canopus, the sick would visit this sanctuary, sleeping there overnight in the hopes of being healed within its hallowed halls.
Really? So they would just come here in hope that they would be healed. Interesting. Okay. So they merged Greek and Egyptian gods together? Yeah. Honestly, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, back then, they didn't really have, like, modern technology and medicines like we did, so a lot of the time, they just had to, like, at times, just pray and hope that their illnesses would go away. Because I feel like I take it for granted, like, if I feel bad, if I get sick or something, I can easily just take, like, a pill. I can easily get a shot if it's some type of virus or an unknown flu. You know, I can just be like, okay, over-the-counter medicine will do me some good, right? Back then, they just did not have that. They just did not. The copium room. Oh yes, back in the day they had copium rooms. I think I like to believe that they are actually more enriching than we believe, you know. Holy shit. I always had an interest for Assassin's Creed, but after Unity I fell off for the series. Play Black Flag. That's like the only Assassin's Creed. Play Black Flag and play Origins. In my opinion, they are probably the better Assassin's Creed games, especially Black Flag. One day, we will be playing Black Flag on stream. That is like almost like top 5 games of all time for me, and I'm not even like joking when I say that. Let's look at our map here real fast. Let's see. Let's see what we can find here. There's a bunch of the Great Library. Introduction of Alexandria. The Sea. Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt. Let's go here. Let's do a fast travel. Black Flag, I didn't hear good things about it. It's, believe me when I say this, it's one of the best Assassin's Creed games out there. It's so good. And if you want to play it, it's on the Switch. The only place I would never want to be sick is during this era is Europe, because Europe, minus maybe those who use holistics and witches didn't have shit. That is the funniest sentence I've ever read. Let's... Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt. Learn about Cleopatra, the last of the ancient Egyptian pharaohs. Okay, so there is more than one pharaoh, but she was one of the last. Bird.
Welcome to Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt.
Queen? Okay, I gotta put some respect on that name, okay? Because Cleo, she was doing some shit back in the day. She was doing good. Let's see.
Cleopatra VII Theophilopator ascended the throne in 51 BCE at the age of 18. Though her early attempts to maintain power were often challenged, she eventually prevailed and became the sole ruler of Egypt. According to Plutarch, she was the only Ptolemaic pharaoh to speak the Egyptian language. Her intelligence, coupled with a good education and a great political mind, allowed her to make the alliances necessary to maintain the independence of Egypt while Rome was becoming a Mediterranean empire.
Damn, at that age, I didn't even know left from my fucking right. Not gonna lie, I was a stupid ass motherfucker. That you're telling me that she had an entire goddamn civilization basically at her hands. I think, I don't know what it is, but back in the day, I feel like people were a lot more, and don't take this the wrong way, I felt like they had more of an intellect. You know, a way of like respectfully like having a sense of intelligence in a sense. Like I cannot see someone that young having to rule over such a great, vast like civilization such as Egypt, you know? Like, whoa. Most pharaohs were crowned very young. That's insane to me. What the fuck? He also had a ritualistic sacrifice to bring rye during the drought of good harvest. Yeah, that's when sacrifices start to happen, that's where I'm like, oh, that's a little bit scary to me. Okay, let's go right here. Let's read more about this.
It is important to understand that Cleopatra's knowledge of Egyptian language and keen understanding of the culture allowed her to make powerful ideological reference that resonated with ancient Egyptians. By associating herself with the goddess Isis, the divine mother, great of magic, and repository of divine essence, Cleopatra firmly established herself as the protector of the two lands and legitimized her place on the throne.
Wow, okay. What is this game? This is Bowser's Inside Story 3. Very much in ancient Egypt, I believe. I feel back then they took pride in their kind of legacies and responsibilities. Yeah, there's a sense of pride. There's like a sense of like, you know, it almost felt to me like back in the day, they just knew that there was going to be like a inevitable future where this became all like, you know, a thing of the past. Bowser had ancient Egypt inside of him. Yes, this was the civilization that was dwelling within his stomach for some reason. Fucking game. The more I think about it, like Bowser's Inside Story is a very strange game. But we are playing Assassin's Creed Origins. This is a discovery tour mode, like kind of like a field trip. So we're learning a bit about this civilization. So far, it's been really interesting. And Cleopatra seems to be a very strong person as well to lead such a gigantic place like this.
Upon his death in 51 BCE, Ptolemy XII Aulus bequeathed his kingdom to his daughter and eldest son, Cleopatra VII and Ptolemy XIII. As was custom, the siblings were married. The new pharaoh was 10 years old, his sister wife 17. The early years of their reign were not easy. Between 50 and 48 BCE, droughts and floods aggravated Egypt's problems. General Achilles and the royal advisor Pothinos kept intervening in the young ruler's political decisions and eventually colluded to turn Ptolemy XIII against Cleopatra. By 48 BCE, Cleopatra was in exile.
Ooh, shit is going down. Yeah, different time, different place, y'all. Different time, different place. That's crazy. Alright. I feel like, because I know she gonna die, right? she's gonna get got. Hello?
During Cleopatra's exile, the Roman Empire was not without its own internal conflict. Caesar and Pompey were at war with one another, and after his defeat in 48 BCE, Pompey fled to Alexandria in the hope of finding refuge. This turned out to be an unwise decision. Listening to his advisors, Ptolemy XIII elected to have Pompey assassinated, his head kept as a gift, in the hopes of acquiring Caesar's favor. This gambit backfired. Instead of earning approval, the murder of a Roman greatly angered Caesar.
Oh shit. Cleopatra died from slaying too hard. I think that's insane to me, man. They were just murdering motherfuckers too. Like, man, like I said, beef goes back that far, man. I feel like no matter how far we are with human societies and everything like that, we will always have turmoil with one another, and that's such, I think that's one of the biggest like flaws with, you know, humans as a species, that we just fucking can't get over fighting with one another. God damn, man. Whoa. Well, this place is certainly beautiful. Let's go this way. Conflict is inevitable, unfortunately. Yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad. Nothing named Pompeii can ever catch a break in history. Honestly, yeah. If you guys know about the Pompeii, I think, volcano disasters, like, holy shit. Nothing Pompeii. Yeah, you bring up a really good point, Ernie. Like, a really good point.
Cleopatra, aware of Caesar's anger against Ptolemy for the murder of Pompey, decided to take advantage of the situation. She returned to Egypt in secret, hoping to establish an alliance with one of the most powerful men of the time. Outside of the legend, where she had herself smuggled into his quarters in a carpet, what exactly happened during that fateful meeting remains a mystery. However, Caesar seemed to see a better ruler for Egypt in Cleopatra than in her young and too easily influenced brother. Invoking Ptolemy XII's will, Caesar attempted to mediate peace between the siblings.
So he tried to at least garner some type of trust, or, you know. Whoa. What is this? What is this?
Ptolemy XIII was enraged by the turn of events, and his advisors were none too happy to see Cleopatra return. Urged on by General Achillas and Pothinos, the young pharaoh plotted against Caesar and Cleopatra, resulting in the siege of Alexandria in 47 BCE. It was in March 47 BCE that Caesar defeated Ptolemy XIII's forces. The young pharaoh drowned in the Nile after having fled the battlefield. With her opponents dead or powerless, Cleopatra married her other much younger brother, Ptolemy XIV, and finally claimed the throne of Egypt for good. The end of the Alexandrian War also cemented the romantic and political alliance between Cleopatra and Caesar.
So shit wasn't too good for too long. Eventually, it looked like they just had, you know, when you start involving murdering people, when you start faking your death, you know that shit was in for a spin.
In June of 47 BCE, Cleopatra gave birth to a son, whom she called Caesarion. Caesar did not accept the boy as his heir, choosing instead his nephew Octavian. Nonetheless, on his return to Rome, Caesar invited the queen and her brother husband to stay in the city. Her presence still drew much disapproval from the Senate. Always a strategist, Caesar left 4 legions in Egypt and a man he trusted to direct Egyptian affairs, giving him control of the wheat supplies essential to Rome. Cleopatra and her entourage remained in Rome until March 44 BCE, when Caesar was murdered.
I wonder why he didn't take his son as his own and rather was just like, my nephew's, you know, he's the one I'm gonna choose instead. Let me get around to this side. Different times, yeah. You know, when you 47 BCE, how long ago was 47 BCE? Like, start counting, because I don't know how long ago that was. Like, how many years from 2023 to 47 BCE lie between one another? I'm quite curious. Sometimes you can't help but sit back and watch the chaos unfold, not wanting to get your hands dirty. Honestly, like, I think what's even scarier is that this kind of turmoil existed and such a strong populated structure of a city, you know, such a strong, like, I would say, like, everything was so curated in a sense that there was an amount of power between its, like, you know, between its people, between the culture, between everything, that eventually all fell, which is really, really scary to me.
Caesar's most faithful ally, Mark Antony, often visited the Queen of Egypt during his stay in Rome. Unlike most, he recognized the legitimacy of Caesarion, the natural son of Caesar. Antony knew he would need the riches of Egypt in order to fight Octavian and claim the Roman Empire. Cleopatra, in return, saw a powerful ally. In the winter of 41 BCE, she arranged a sumptuous tour of Egypt by boat to show Antony the wealth of her country and the power she held as its ruler. A romantic and political relationship followed. The Roman Senate was once again most displeased. To calm spirits in Rome, Antony married Octavia, sister of Octavian.
Why is everyone always getting married? We can sit back and say that some of this is fucked up, but it's way too easy to judge this by our standards, which is fundamentally different. Yeah, honestly, like, the way that they kind of held their own and everything of the nature, like, it's so sad to see something like this actually, like, unfortunately, now it's a part of history, but I still think that's something to admire, is the fact that these, surprisingly, all of this really sad, unfortunate dying and everything of the nature, it appears to have a rift between, like, you know, our day and age. I feel like the choices and decisions eventually would lead into the civilization that we have today. So it's nice to see at least a bit of a reflection upon an era that is now long gone.
Despite his marriage to Octavia, Antony remained Cleopatra's lover, and she gave birth to their children. Cleopatra increased her kingdom's territory and started a political propaganda alongside her lover in Egypt and beyond. She hoped to create a Ptolemaic federal empire with Alexandria at its center. Antony eventually repudiated his Roman wife for the Egyptian queen, much to the dismay of the Roman elite. However, while Mark Antony focused on Egypt, Octavian carefully gained military and political ascendancy over him in Rome.
All we can hope is to teach the next in line to not make the same mistakes we've made, so their generation can become good to their merits. Honestly, I think one of you guys wrote up a great point. It could be worse. Because in this day and age, we still have war, we still have things like that, and it's really sad, honestly. We just have to hope that the people who are in the lead, you know, the world leaders, actually make choices that will benefit, you know, humans as a species. It's kind of sad to say, but, you know, of course, me being me, I'm completely out of control of the decisions that are made. You know, if the world decides to this, you know, if our leaders decide, you know, this is a choice we have to do, people have to die, it just happens. It's so unfortunate. Time is a flat circle, we keep falling for the same mistakes 1,000 years later. Yeah, we can only hope that, I feel like, surprisingly, we are in an era right now where we can be comfortable within our houses and have, you know, good things, a roof underneath our heads. You know, things like that. But there's still a lot of things that are very much prevalent in this day and age. Almost exactly the way that they were back in the day as well.
Octavian managed his own propaganda campaign and succeeded. The Roman people hated Mark Antony and Cleopatra.
Damn.
To avoid the censure still inherent in attacking a fellow Roman, Octavian simply declared war against Egypt. Rome's power still reigned supreme. The powerful Egyptian fleet, led by Cleopatra as well as Mark Antony's forces, were defeated in 31 BCE in Actium. Octavian arrived in Egypt in 30 BCE to formalize his victory.
Yeah. I just think it's always interesting, and it's always human nature to react in a violent manner where it's like, if we don't get our point across, then we're just gonna start taking lives. Like, I don't understand why that's our go-to when there's some type of disagreement where it's like, okay, the only thing that we have to do left is to go to war. Like, just a little war will do us some good, you know? Never understood that. Wow.
The following events remain difficult to confirm due to the many versions and legends around them. It is believed that after hearing a rumor about Cleopatra's suicide, Mark Antony committed suicide himself. He was brought to the Queen as he slowly passed away. Knowing that Octavian would have her chained and paraded through Rome in defeat, Cleopatra planned her own suicide. She most likely killed herself with arsenic, though admittedly, the version where she uses an asp to deliver a fatal bite may be considered more dramatic. What happened to the body of Cleopatra is still a mystery.
What? Are you serious? Wait a minute. Okay, now I find that incredibly interesting. How we have a good understanding of the way the civilizations were inherited, the way they were built, the structures, but yet the most important figure, that being Cleopatra, do we not know what happened after that? Because one thing is for certain, is that she committed suicide and passed away. But where the body went, what happened? So different, okay. Career completed. The body was never found. I do believe the next couple of years, generations will be another renaissance. Purposely point. Yeah, like, it's honestly sad. It's honestly really sad to see that happen because I felt like they had a really good, let's say, like, powerful way of leading, but things fall through. Rip in peace. We don't know what happened to a lot of important figures' bodies. I mean, not that it matters, you know, they're passed away. Alright, let's keep going. I think that's what matters the most, is that the... Because when I think about it, like, the bodies in this time were so preserved and, like, you know, well thought out, and were actually treated with a lot of love and respect, so that's why I'm a little bit like, the body must have been, like, hidden somewhere for, like, the sake of preservation, maybe, because of course they wrap them up in wrappings and everything like that, so for a body to just mysteriously be God knows where is like, makes me think, you know? Let me see something here. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there actually is, let's see, wine in ancient Egypt. Wine. Let's see. But at least we're here now to make the most of it. That's important to keep in mind. I feel more than ever, you know. Yeah. It makes me think, do you think, like, how many years from today will we be looking back and playing games of this modern era? You know? Like, I'm not too sure if human civilization will still exist by that time, but, you know... Is this where they made the drinks? Hold up. Let me see. Wine in ancient Egypt. Okay.
Take your time. I'll wait. It's not like ancient Egypt is going anywhere.
The pharaohs had full ensues, and it was really big for burial in their time for figures like Cleopatra. Let's rate this.
Welcome to Wine in Ancient Egypt.
Wine. See, personally, there's a couple of wines that I absolutely love, but sometimes wine can be really rich, you know, like something that's not definitely for me. But every now and again, I think wine is really nice, so let's learn about that.
When the god Horus lost his eye in a war with Seth, the ancient Egyptians believed the eye turned into a vine, and the vine's tears became wine. Early texts, dating back to 3150 BCE, contain the hieroglyph for wine.
Hmm.
Regarded as extremely valuable, wine was highly sought after by the elite. It was also an essential part of many religious ceremonies.
Well, that makes sense. I think that still is tradition. Give me 1 second here, guys, really quick. Let me fix this annoying bubble. My capture card has this weird staticky sound, and the only way that I can fix it is by restarting it. So give me 1 second here. Restart that, because I don't. Yeah, the static is really annoying to me too. For some reason, it just happens. I need to get a different monitor because it's not my capture card. It's like both of them combined for some reason. It makes a real static noise. Here we go. Let's get back into it. Yeah, wine is still like a celebratory thing in this day and age for us. Hold on, there we go. That's it. It makes me wonder how like authentic this wine was, because this is quite like back in the day fruit. This will get you something.
A millennia-old tradition. Grape cultivation and wine production was regimented in the way typical of ancient Egyptian bureaucracy.
Ooh.
Egyptians kept careful records of winemakers, which they clearly identified on labels.
Mm-hmm.
Every landowner with a modicum of self-respect usually kept a vineyard. This held particularly true in the regions of the Fayoum and the Nile Delta.
Wow. Grapes, baby. Ancient Egypt was also really big on beer. It was common in their meals and was made of sort of a mash they drank from using filtered straws, as I recall. Wow. Oh man, I wish I could have a taste. It sounds tasty a little bit, honestly. Let's go here.
Documentation shows that only certain craftsfolk were allowed to provide the containers required to store and transport wine. That and rigorous quality control checks established for every step of wine production shows that ancient Egyptians knew that the quality and longevity of wine could easily be affected by any number of variables, which they paid careful attention to.
Wow, okay. So it looks like it was, they were very like, hey, if we're going to be making wine, then we have to make sure that we have the right people in mind to create this stuff with, because something as simple as it seems can be very tainted easily. So it appears to be they had different vases, different people that were almost certified to create and almost like sustain a winery, so you know it was good.
Egyptians had different kinds of wines, most of which ranged in quality from good to very good. The sweet shadé, to which honey had been added. The soft nejem, obtained by drying the grapes in the sun. The ma, reserved for religious ceremonies. And finally there was the peyor, the mediocre rated wine, resulting from the second pressing of grapes and reserved for a less discerning palate.
Oh, so it looks like they have different wines for different occasions and different groups of people as well. Wow. Okay. Honestly, we owe society as a whole to beer to some degree. If we didn't start boiling water to make beer, we wouldn't have enough to save to drink to sustain cities. I wonder if this is going to have a tour for the beer stuff. But why don't we look to see that? Why don't we look real quick? Hold on. Because I still don't like beer. Like, beer is something that I never liked, but wine was always so much more like, I think delightful is the word. Something more fruitful for somebody like me. Wow, we want to see how big this map is. Do you really want to see how big this map is, guys? Check this out. Look at this massive fucking map. Of course, this is only going to be a 3-hour stream, so I could not imagine by any degree that we're going to be learning each and every little thing today. No way. I mean, it goes even further the more you go over here. Look at that. That's a lot of map. The base game for Assassin's Creed Origins is really good, but this, of course, is a tour mode. So why don't we start looking a little bit towards over here? The Bringer of Life. The River Nile. The Nile River, baby. See, the Nile River is still here with us till this day. A very nice, lovely river. Like, everyone benefited the most from simply just the elements, that being water. Learn about the River Nile and its importance to the development of ancient Egyptian civilization. Surprisingly, this thing goes way, way back.
Welcome to Bringer of Life, the River Nile.
Ooh, can we use a boat? Wait, can Cleopatra actually swim? Yo, Vinyl, thank you so much for the 1 bed. I went on a wine tour at the Biltmore Mansion in North Carolina last summer. Ooh. Let me see, can I swim here? Oh my god, I can swim. Okay, let's get on this boat real fast. There we go, let's mount this. Excellent. I've always wanted to learn a little bit about the Nile River itself, so...
The ancient Egyptians called the dark, fertile soil of the Nile the Black Lands, and the surrounding desert was referred to as the Red Lands. The dramatic difference of productive land opposed to barren desert had a deep influence on cultural ideology, mythology, and religion.
Okay. Very creative, yeah. Black, red. Keep going. Really strange how to control this thing. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. This is so sick, actually. Okay. Our next stop. 3 seasons.
The Nile determined much of Egyptian civilization. For example, the seasonal cycle of the Nile was so consistent that ancient Egyptians created their calendar around it. The flood season, or Akhet, was when the departing floodwaters left arable soil for crops. It was followed by the growing and harvesting seasons, known as Peret and Shemu. These regular seasons, along with abundant wildlife and rich soil, meant that Egypt's denizens were able to nourish themselves and ensure their country's strength in trade.
So they were very dependent on this thing. They were very, very dependent. They had entire schedules built around this fucking thing. Wow. That is impressive. Thank you so much, Coconut Prince, for the follow. Welcome, welcome. That is really good. Alright. They relied heavily on the Nile, like, holy shit. I wonder if they use it still for transportation over there, because I know the Nile River is still, like, you know, a thing, if I'm not mistaken. It's quite a marvel, honestly. Go this way. They still relied on the Nile today, yeah, as I would imagine.
The River Nile, flowing from the south to the north, neatly traversed through both Upper and Lower Egypt. All of Egypt's major cities were built along this narrow ribbon of life. Protected by mountain ranges and deserts which acted as natural barriers to enemies, and sustained by the Nile's plants and wildlife, Egyptian civilization enjoyed economic and cultural prosperity for over 4,000 years.
Damn, that is a long time. That's a good amount of time for a good, abundant amount of life. Makes sense, since this was where the civilization's water came from. Given the arid setting, having water close by is extremely essential, absolutely. Oh, I don't want to crash into any of these guys, so let me get around them. If I accidentally crash into someone, is this going to change to the ebb and flow of time? Finding water in the desert is a rarity. Yeah, the fact that they were so dependent on an element, that being water, to make trade, to make sure that they had their services and goods, all because of one big ass river, that is quite the impressive feat in my opinion. Let's keep going. Wow, look at that. You can see the pyramids from... Oh, we have to go see those pyramids after this. And before you crash and your great-great-great-grandfather disappears. Yeah, the ebb and flow of time will merely detonate because I accidentally crashed into one of these ships. Wait, what happens if I do that? Let's see. We'll try right now. Here we go, guys. He just screamed at me in a language that I did not understand. I'm pretty sure he called me a fucking asshole. I'm sorry. Don't yell at me. It was an accident. I'm straight. Oh, sweet shit. Let's keep going. Well, there we go. Wow. It is so gorgeous. We're making it. Where is the next one at? I don't think we see it. Look how big this thing is. Oh my goodness. That is a gigantic river. Keep going. I wonder, like, I do want to visit Egypt at some point, but I'm not too sure when, you know. I think I'm not too sure if you guys feel the same about that, but the older I get, the more I want to see of this world. Because I remember not too long ago, we were having a conversation just like this, and a lot of you were like, nah, I'd just rather sit here and chill at home with my cat and my jelly beans. And I used to be the same exact way. Especially when I was a lot younger, when I was like a wee baddie, I was like, I don't want to go to fucking Japan. There's nothing in Japan. What's in Japan that they don't have over here in America? Like, I was kind of ignorant. So, as I grow older, I've been kind of yearning to explore a lot more of this world, other than the nasty, nasty country that is America. There are other things in this world that I've yet to see. I've only seen them on Google Images and in YouTube videos. How different would it be if I were to actually see this stuff, you know, and witness it with my very own eyes? My anxiety of an airplane doesn't help. I've seen a bunch of plane crash stories. I think, when planes crash, it is like a story, because they do not often, like, actual airline planes, like commercial airline planes that go from country to country, they never crash. I mean, every now and again you have a disaster, but you are more, like, of course, people always say that you are more safe in the skies than you are when it comes to, like, driving somewhere, you know? Traveling seems like fun. I want to travel more, but it's so expensive. I guess it depends on where, you know, like, it depends on where you're going. Where's our next? Wow, we are really swimming over here. Like, this line is taking us somewhere. Not too sure where the next point is. As much as I would love to leave this country, I'm afraid. I'm way too afraid. Yeah. I mean, I think traveling right now is probably still at a low, considering the state of the country when it comes to COVID and everything like that. I still do everything that I can to stay safe away. There's always different variants and, you know, all these other, like, crazy viruses that have been going around as of lately that makes it a lot more difficult to want to travel safely, if you know what I mean. Did it just... Okay, I think we just reached a dead end, potentially. You know what we're gonna do? Hold on. Where's our map at? Not too sure. Did we miss it? Were we supposed to go here? Let's fast travel here really fast. Maybe one day I'd love to travel to different places. I mean, chat, answer me this right now. Answer me this. If there is one place that you can discover or go visit right now in the world, right now, where would it be? If you can choose, just because there are a lot of places in my mind where I'm like, oh, I want to go here immediately. Norway, Japan. Japan. Yeah, it seems like a lot of you guys really want to go to Japan, huh? Definitely someplace in Japan. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Because I have a list of places where I'm like, places other than Japan. Let me see here. The origin of the pyramid. We're gonna get down to it. We're gonna get down to it. London. See, London is a nice one. See, the pyramids. Ooh, look at this. Look at this site right here. Oh, that is just fucking beautiful. Look at that. See, the pyramids, funnily enough, are always like almost rooted in some sort of like alien technology. Like a lot of people believe that a lot of the Egyptians who created and crafted these things, these structures, had some type of helpful influence on mightier beings beyond human comprehension. But of course, that's like a tinfoil hat theory. We never know. Let's see. Learn about the early funerary monuments of Egypt. Okay, let's do it.
Welcome to the origin of the pyramid.
Ooh, pretty. Wow, it is massive.
The origin of the word pyramid is controversial. Most believe that it originates with the Greek word pyramis, which referred to a bread of conical shape. Life and death in ancient Egypt were modeled on the cycle of the sun. The perfect shape of the smooth-faced pyramid became associated with the metaphor of the pharaoh transformed into one of the sun's rays in death. Pyramids represented the Benben, the primordial mound of the Heliopolitan creation myth. These stories permeated every aspect of Egyptian life to a greater or lesser extent.
You Final Fan, thank you so much for the 1 bit. That's the reason why I stopped watching History Channel, nothing but paranormal crap. Yeah, like after a while, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was just thinking about that the History Channel became more or less like the Sci-Fi Channel with some of the stuff that they would talk about often. And it kind of got me to a point where I was just like, oh, kind of losing me a bit here. Not just aliens, just lots of slavery. I think that's the sad part, that it comes down to a lot of like human labor, which is very, very unfortunate.
During the pre-dynastic period, the development of funerary practices was different, depending on whether one was located in Lower Egypt or Upper Egypt. Well before the pyramid, there was the burial pits. It is on the site of Merimde Beni Salame in Lower Egypt that we find the oldest funerary site, dating back to 5000 BCE. Study of the tombs revealed that the bodies of the deceased were deposited in a shallow grave, in a fetal position. Though a few objects were recovered from these graves, they offered no insight as to the social class of those interred within.
So the pyramids are a place of rest for the dead as well? I don't know why, but for some reason I had completely forgotten about that. Let's go this way. Oh shit, Jesus.
In Upper Egypt, pre-dynastic practices are easier to study, but reveal more complex funerary rites.
Pause. Sorry. Let me fix this really, really annoying pause thing. I think later this year I'm going to invest in getting a better capture card and getting a better monitor so that fuzz thing doesn't happen. I know it takes like 30 seconds to fix, but it's still really annoying to me. There we go.
They are divided into two cultural phases, Badarian and Nagata. The Badarian phase ranged from 4400 BCE to 3800 BCE. Small necropolises were discovered on the outskirts of villages, revealing the emergence of a funerary cult. The bodies of the deceased were lowered into an oval grave and covered with goat or gazelle skins. Items needed in everyday life were added alongside the body.
To think these structures were made of baked mud is wild to me. Right? Like, when it comes down to it, like, they put it together so well that I thought it was always, like, something else, some other, like, you know, some other, like, structure other than just mud, but it quite literally is that, but just really well crafted. Kind of poetic in a way. Hundreds of years, the skeletons of both slaves and slave owners are indistinguishable. Yeah, that's really sad.
During the three Nagata periods ranging from 4000 BCE to 3510 BCE, funerary practices evolved in complexity. The shape of tombs changed from oval to rectangular, mimicking the homes of the living. The size of the burials increased and funerary items became more stylized and numerous. Tombs gained complexity with masonry, wooden veneers, or raw bricks added to strengthen the structures. In time, socially stratified necropolises emerged. For example, in Hyrcanopolis, the elite and commoners had separate necropolises.
You're late to class. Don't worry, don't worry. This won't be a long stream. Remember, this is only going to be 2 to 3 hours long. Go down here. Let us see.
The term mastaba, meaning massive bench in dialectal Arabic, refers to a form of funerary architecture that was present in Egypt from the Archaic period to the Middle Kingdom. An evolution of the burial pit, mastabas were generally composed of two parts. A structure was built above the ground in the form of a massive rectangle with stepped walls, and a subterranean burial chamber was located underneath. Smaller mastabas often surrounded the much larger tomb of the king. These generally held the remains of the king's relatives and courtiers.
Yeah, you know what really upsets me? That there are fucking idiots who will actually climb the pyramids in this day and age for whatever reason. Like, that is the most disrespectful shit that you can do. Like, oh my god. Like, the more I'm learning about these, like, you know, the pyramids and the surrounding structures, the more that irritates me that people will be like, ew, I'm going to climb it for no fucking reason.
The arrangement of the substructure of the mastaba evolved during the course of the Old Kingdom. From the 5th dynasty onwards, mastabas often featured multi-roomed substructures, with sometimes up to 30 rooms. Also, the quantity and quality of decorated surfaces increased noticeably, as well as the number of statues found within.
Thank you so much, Enzo the Grey. Thank you so much for the 100 bits. The sad thing is, most of these tombs were looted, and of course doing dumb shit like climbing. Yeah. I feel like a lot of it is for the benefit of, like, educational purposes as well. Yeah, it is stepping on someone's grave. That's why when people are like, I don't understand what the point of climbing a pyramid even is. Like, what do you get out of that? Like, people are so stupid.
The 6th dynasty would see art used to its utmost. The entire surface of a mastaba would be covered in scenes of daily life, illustrating the prosperity of those lucky enough to comfortably spend eternity near the pyramid of a pharaoh. The best example of this type of mastaba is the tomb of Meroruka in Saqqara.
You know what's so great about these, like, what's so great about the artistic, like, stylization of these structures? Like, as you can see, there's a story being told here on the art alone, which is fascinating. It's actually very, very, I think the word I'm looking for is pretty. I feel like it's almost indescribable to me when I look at the pictures of these structures that were drawn onto it and sketched out and, you know, in some degree chiseled in between the rocks. There is a story being told here, a story that is out of my, you know, mind of comprehension. I cannot understand it, but I can, and I will say, completely give complete credit to the amount of, like, careful like, it is so well crafted. This is something that you simply cannot do on a whim. This is something that takes time, practice, and a good amount of love and respect to be putting onto a rock like this. I love it. I love it. And they just gave a shit, you know? It feels like they gave an absolute shit back then about the deceased, about the leaders, and about, like, you know, the people who passed on such a good amount of respect, you know? Everything would be painted too, but on the sand over time removed the paint. Ah, it's a bummer, dude. It's a bummer. Let's see what else we got here. We're learning so I'm so glad that we're doing this today because I'm learning quite a lot. I like that. Let me see. We skipped an orb? I don't think we did. Here for you guys. Look at beer and bread. Beer and bread. This is what you guys want to learn about, right? Let's go look at this. Beer and bread. A lot of people say that's all you need in this life. I'm learning more from this than a week of class. Oh my goodness. Learn about the production steps of brewing beer and bread making and the importance in ancient Egyptians' lives. Wow. Alright, let's have a look at it.
Welcome to Bread and Beer.
Yes, bread and beer. Let's see what we got.
While the Mesopotamians invented beer, including using a straw to avoid the sediments and herbs, ancient Egyptians perfected the brewing method. Egyptian beer's quality was determined by alcohol strength, color, and flavor. During the Pharaonic era, beer was the most commonly used and important alcoholic beverage. The state and temples used it, along with bread, as payment to workers, and it was included on the lists of food offerings to the gods and the deceased.
Ooh, so beer and bread was not only something that was almost like a way of paying workers, but it was something they also gave to those who passed on as well for, like, I guess, offerings and whatnot. That is insanely cool. That's really nice. Would have totally loved to play games like this to learn instead of passively listening to just taking notes. Yeah, I think, I feel like, because I used to play a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins, and by the end I finished the game, I only realized that there was this mode, and this could have been a game by itself, honestly. Beer and bread. What kind of bread y'all got?
Beer was the popular drink of ceremonies and festivals. The Festival of Drunkenness was even dedicated to it. Considered to be quite nutritional, beer was also significant in the day-to-day lives of ancient Egyptians. Egyptian adults and children consumed beer with all of their meals, and medical texts include hundreds of remedies that contain beer.
No shit.
It remained the most popular alcoholic beverage until the Roman era.
No shit. Wait, let me read that again. Egyptian adults and children consume beer. So, wow. I mean, of course, in this day and age, children can have beer, but the fact that that beverage was so, like, renowned and so, like, a part of people's day-to-day lives, that even children were drinking it, whoa, that's insane. They had Oktoberfest back in ancient Egypt. Oh, yes, they definitely did. What do they call it? They called it the Festival of Drunkenness. Yo, Smash Man, thank you so much for the 8 months. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the sub, buddy. 8 months of KrazyBones. Yes. By the time we reach our 1-year anniversary, you'll be at a completely different place from where you started. You've grown a lot in more ways than one. Thank you so much, Smash Man. Thank you for having me, and thank you so much for the significant amount of months with me. That means a lot to me, Smash Man. You've always been here with us. Thank you. And thank you, Sleepy. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I can drink beer, but not my fave. Mead, on the other hand. What is mead? I've heard about this mead before. Alright. The Festival of Drunkenness. Okay.
Recipes for beer varied over time and depended on the quality of the materials. Bakers and brewers typically worked alongside one another at the same workshop or house. Many families often produced the quantity appropriate to their own consumption, with better quality beers produced for festivals and other special occasions. The most basic recipe used malted cereal as the main ingredient. Fruits such as dates were added along with honey and spices.
It's a fucking rat. It's a motherfucking rat. Sorry guys, we just had to break tension a little bit. I just saw a rat. Yo, Nita, thank you so much for me. I love you. Thank you. This is so much better than learning. Better than a documentary. Honestly, it's very interactable, you know. Rat jump scare. I'm so sorry, guys. Sorry that was loud. Let's see.
Once baked, bread would be crumbled into the brew to start the fermentation process. Adding grain enzymes would break down the starches, turning them into sugar and creating a thick mash.
That sounds good. Honestly, that sounds really tasty. Thank you for the book. Thank you. I wonder how easy it is to actually make beer, you know, because they seem to be like, all you need is a big, like, can I have a look, Steve? Can I look? Ooh. Shit, what you got on the menu, son? That should look like it's gonna be, it looks hot. Look at these big jars that they be brewing this stuff into. Bro, don't you be coughing on the beer. What the fuck is wrong with you, son, with this shit? Ooh, a hydrate, thank you. Give me that hydration. Bread boba. You know what's the funny? The last time I had boba, I choked on the little ball inside of the boba, and I was like, okay, I'm not drinking this ever again.
Once ready, the bread and grain mixture was compressed and then strained through a sieve with water into the mix of malt beer. Once fermented, the beer mash was transferred to large containers and again compressed by foot or with pestles.
You better have some clean ass feet if you're gonna be crushing that shit with your feet, because I am not drinking anyone's foot beer, dude. Coughing on the beer, we call that Corona. Why is that sudden? Like, isn't that still a thing? Like, don't certain companies and people who make like fruit-related drinks still squash them with their feet naturally? Like, some people, obviously, there's some industries mostly use mechanical things to juice certain things out. But there are still that old way of like, let me just squish this shit with my feet. I'm just like, yeah, no. Yeah,
once smooth,
not sterile at all.
The beer was stored in pottery jars and sealed with a clay stopper. It probably couldn't be kept for long and likely had a thick, pasty appearance and texture. Very little was wasted. Leftover grains were reused to make sourdough bread or combined with the next batch of beer.
Sourdough bread, yummy. Nah, man, you better wash your feet. Yeah, it doesn't seem to me like the most sterile thing, but honestly, just that's the way that they were. And I felt like they were probably a lot more clean than us in this day and age. Man, we dirty as hell in this day and age. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. It's probably the most clean beer that you ever have in your life. Probably the most tasty bread you'll ever fucking eat. In my opinion.
While there are many ancient accounts for making bread, most of the knowledge known about ancient Egyptian brewing comes from an account by the alchemist Zosimus over 300 years after Cleopatra's reign. More recently, Dr. Delwyn Samuel, an archaeobotanist, has proposed alternate antique techniques to brew beer. However, experts are unable to replicate an authentic beer since not all of the techniques and ingredients used by ancient Egyptians are known yet.
You want to try sourdough bread? It sounds interesting. Honestly, sourdough bread is actually, I feel like I have to be in the mood for it. I don't think it's gonna be for everyone, you know? Like, I have tried sourdough bread, and there are times where I'm just like, ugh, no thank you. And then there are times where I'm like, put some butter on that, please.
Food was prepared.
Alright, I'm gonna head out and get ready for my exam. I just wanted to drop in and sprinkle in some chaos. Thank you, Cosmic. Thank you. Good luck on your exam. Thank you for stopping in for a wee bit. Sourdough is good when you're in the mood for it, especially as toast with a little butter. Absolutely. So tasty.
On the floor until the Middle Kingdom, when cooking benches were introduced. The introduction of durum wheat improved bread quality, meaning that the upper and middle classes ate better.
Wow.
The poor, however, still made do with a diet consisting of a gruel made of vegetables, softened bread, or barley.
Let me read that again. Let me read this. Hold on. Food was prepared on the floor until the Middle Kingdom, which cooking benches were introduced. So are you... Let me get rid of this crackling real quick again. So I guess what I am taking from this is that they cooked on the floor because they just never made benches. Okay. Interesting. Let me come back in. Get rid of that nasty fuzz because I don't want that fuzz for you guys. I would love to try an ancient beer. It makes me wonder if it would be sweet or would it be like gross. The dirt was a seasoning back then. Oh my lord. Maybe it would be tasty. I don't know.
Dough was kneaded by hand or foot, and when sufficiently blended, additional items were added, such as fruits, nuts, honey, and spices. To leaven the bread, they added sourdough or leaven from beer brewing. Ovens were circular or beehive-shaped and made with clay or brick. If there was no oven at all, a bread maker used the hot sand to bake flatbread, a technique still in use by some Berbers today.
Berbers. Berber. So, wait, let me read this one more time. Dough is kneaded by hand or foot. So why the foot? Like, why? Maybe it's because it was easier? I'm not having no one's foot bread. Sufficiently blended, additional items were added such as fruits, nuts, and honey and spices. Okay. Wow. You know it was tasty. Berbers. There was no tools? Yeah, probably not, you know. And the fact that they use hot sand to bake it, like damn, they let nature itself cook it for them. Kind of reminds me of like the sun bathing tea. Has anyone ever made like sun tea before? So tasty, so tasty.
Ancient Egyptians always had to fight off the omnipresent sand particles that were blown towards them. Despite their best efforts, sand regularly made its way into their food.
Aww.
Additionally, particles from the grain-grinding stone tools and ovens they used also contributed to attrition and prematurely worn teeth.
Oh no.
The team tried to portray this through toothache animations and commoners sweeping sand off.
So, of course, that's inevitable getting in this day and age, especially with the amount of sand surrounding the area. You would just every now and again get some grains right in that bread. Oh man, I would be so upset if I was eating something really tasty and suddenly sand in my teeth. So we're complete. Wow. Strangely, you know what? Honestly, I wish I could eat, or I wish I could drink beer rather. I really want, it looks tasty, and a lot of people love beer, but every time I try it, it's always so like, you know, I really wish I could like it. It's not even sweet. Are there sweet beers out there? Because I am a sucker for sweet things. Oh man, I hate sand. It's rough and coarse and gets everywhere. Yo, Elliot, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. I guess you can call it a sandwich. Oh my, it's terrible. It's good, it's good, it's a good one. I tried non-alcoholic beer at Disney World once and it sucked. Non-alcoholic beer, at that point, is it even considered beer? Like, I don't think calling it beer would be. Ooh, look at the Egyptian household. Let's see this. Learn about the family life and homes of ancient Egyptians. I do want to see that. I'm actually quite curious. Because, I'll tell you, a regular household, like my household, you got a table, refrigerator, you got a lovely couch. Of course, you have your entertainment systems. You have some blankets, maybe a rocking chair of some sort. That's my kind of thing. Ceiling fan, lovely lights. How was it back then? How was this back in the day? Let's see. Ooh.
Welcome to the Egyptian household.
Ooh.
In pre-Greco-Roman culture, women were considered equal to men in many matters. They owned property, testified in court, could divorce and inherit. Until the Greeks and Romans restricted their rights, Egyptian women could take over their deceased husband's trade. Marriage contracts included mentions of allowances and items of value brought to the marriage by the woman, which would forever belong to her.
Okay, well that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, Vital Fan, for the 2 bits. Thank you, thank you. Ever had Rattler? It's a small percent beer with a large amount of fruit juice. It's almost like drinking soda than beer. What the fuck? Thank you for saying that, because now I'm really curious. Now I'm really curious about that. I'm gonna make sure I look that up and maybe potentially try some of my own. I kind of love to see a game like this for Assassin's Creed 3 about the revolution. Dude, could you imagine a Discovery Tour mode for Black Flag about like the pirate stuff? Oh, I would love that so much. Watch out. Let's see.
Certain professions were open only to women, such as weaving or professional mourning, while others were available to both genders, including working as servants for the rich households. Social status did have an impact, though. The higher in status, the easier it was to obtain education and access different professions.
All right. Chat, what's another Assassin's Creed game with this, the Viking one? Or is it another one? Yeah, try Valhalla. Valhalla has, Valhalla and Odyssey, I believe they both have, like, discovery modes if you're interested in that green power star. And Enzo, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Egyptians were in some ways ahead of their time with how they treat women. Honestly, yeah. Like, you're not wrong saying that. Like, what the gentleman just said not too long ago, or excuse me, the lady just said not too long ago. I think, can we reread this?
In pre-Greco-Roman culture, women were considered equal to men in many
Yeah,
matters.
look at, they own property,
They
testified
owned
in
property,
court.
testified in court, could divorce and
Yeah,
inherit.
it's so funny how
Until the Greeks
that
and Romans
was a
restricted
thing,
their rights,
and kind
Egyptian
of like as we went forward afterwards past this point, it became women had less and less rights, which I don't know how the fuck that happened. You know, it seems very unjust. That seems
take over their
very
deceased
mean
husband's
too.
trade. Marriage contracts included mentions of allowances and items of value
Alright,
brought to the marriage
already
by the woman, which would
read
forever
that. This is the
belong
one
to
that we want
her.
to go to, right? Here we go.
Homes were generally composed of 3 rooms.
Ooh.
First, there was the entrance, furnished with a small bench of brick, probably intended for a statue and protective divinity. Then there was the ceremonial room, meant to receive guests. The last room was either a bedroom or kitchen. Furniture consisted of basic chairs, chests, and storage. Tables were not used for family dinners. Instead, each individual had a small table of their
Yo,
own.
individual tables? Let's go, dude. What the fuck? Okay, that's super sweet. And thank you so much, Final Fan, for another bit. Rattler primarily comes in grapefruit juice flavor. I gotta try that. And what Assassin's Creed would be a good game to start with? Honestly, I would feel like the first 3 Assassin's Creed games are really good, but I have a personal fixation with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. It is the one and only pirate game for the series, and it does the Assassin's Creed like flavor. It throws that in there on top of a pirate game. So you have a really cool kick-ass pirate game and an Assassin's Creed game on it, like combined into one. So personally, I would say try that game because it gives you a lot of things to explore. It's not too complicated. It's a really easy to pick up, and I would recommend playing that. You Animal Crossing. So, look at this little structure here that's so cute. Composed of 3 rooms, and everyone had their own table. I think that's really cute too. I like that. Ghost of Tsushima is basically Japanese Assassin's Creed. I need to play Ghost of Tsushima at some point. Really want to try that. Right. I wonder what the houses were like. Oh yeah, we can go inside. Let's go inside.
Marriages were a social contract rather than a religious construct. Family was vitally important to ancient Egyptians, and children were considered a blessing from the gods. The father, mother, and their children were the nucleus of the family, and cohabitation sometimes extended to mothers-in-law, sisters, aunts, and sisters-in-law.
Okay, wow. I think it's interesting that they said marriages were a social contract rather than a religious construct. Oh my god. Okay, it's your lucky little puppy. Oh my goodness gracious. Can I pet Kitty Cat? Hi. What a baby. Little kid. Oh, it's cleaning. I love kitty cats so much. It's all about family. Sorry. Oh, let me get out of your household. Kitty cats back then were so sick, dude. Oh my god, Spud Big, that fucking emote is amazing. I love that emote. Ooh.
Status and wealth played a large role in the style and size of ancient Egyptian homes. Commoners' houses were built with sun-baked mud bricks. Wealthier homes were often painted in white and decorated with various motifs.
Okay, so, you know, that's pretty much still the case in this day and age. Like, hey, people who are lower class, unfortunately, don't have the best house, but people who are higher class, of course, have better houses. So that's still something as a consistent thing with humankind. Wow, this is fucking gorgeous. Holy shit. So, did she just say that this was like mud and shit? Like, what kind of mud have they been using? Like, this is insane. Like, even if you go over here and you see these structures, yeah, they're not the best compared to a structure like this, but it is still impressive. Like, look at this. Wow. Advanced mud. It's a wealthy house. Yeah. Probably different, they use different things to create it, but my god, look at that. That is gorgeous. Can I climb? Let's see if oh my god, Cleopatra, let's go. Look at this. We're a master climber. We still have, like, the moveset as if we're playing Assassin's Creed, which is fucking hilarious. Oh god. Nowadays, that would be considered abandoned, unfortunately.
Town officials and the rich lived in mansions with numerous rooms that were luxuriously decorated. Only temples and tombs meant to last for all eternity were built with stone.
Oh, so they use stone wait, let me read that one more time. Only temples and tombs meant to last for all eternity were built with stone. So I'm guessing that maybe stone was considered to be a higher, like, privilege if you had something created with it. I invented parkour, Cleopatra. Step aside, it's you, Altair. Cleopatra, the fact that she can jump like that's insane. Like, she makes it look easy. Watch this. Like, this game is great because I'm pretty sure you can just climb with just about anything. Let's see. Anything except that stick I just climbed on. Look at this. What the fuck? How do you do something like that? She makes this house seem really small if you could just do shit like that. I almost forgot that, once again, this is a mode in Assassin's Creed, so we still have the moveset of, like, a character, so we can just do this. Holy shit. Okay, let's go down here. Parkour.
Funeral stone inscriptions focused on the main member of a household. Encircling this person would then be a spouse, parents, and children, possibly even siblings. These stones were so structured because there were no surnames in ancient Egyptian culture. Parents and children were a sort of family tree, which allowed for the identification of the deceased.
Wow. Funeral stone inscriptions focused on the main member of a household. Look at that. That is beautiful. My god. My goodness. Holy shit. I feel like you know what, I think I selfishly think like this sometimes, like, do you think humanity would be far better off if we didn't have the massive amounts of technology that we have in this day and age? Aside from, like, all the medical stuff, I think, like, if we had the medical advances that we do now, if we had that back then, could you survive without the internet? Probably. I mean, clearly these people adapted to a lifestyle where they just simply did not need any sort of technical prowess. But I'm asking, like, personally, like, could I survive without all the really cool technology things that we have now, like the internet, video games, and all this stuff, you know? Like, would I be able to sustain my own, like, because what if, like, get this, here's a creepy, scary, hypothetical question for you guys. If you one day woke up and you were in the BCE era of Egyptian times, could you potentially survive? Do you think, would you be okay with not being able to have, like, YouTube and Nintendo and all this other stuff? Because I think I would be really fucking frightened at first. And then I would be like, oh, well, Twitter doesn't exist. Yes. Then I would just become immediately, oh my god, oh my goodness, 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 oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Yeah, I know, it's a fucking gator, dude. Just stay away from them. They're not gonna hurt you. Oh, Bubby, look at Bubby right there. How are you, young man? Oh my goodness, you are just... Are you dead? Wait, is it... Wait, can I poke you? It whinnied at me like a horse. Oh my god, this is not a regular crocodile. This is... Oh. Never mind. He's just chilling. He's not moving. Buddy. He whinnied at me. Where are the crocodiles at? Is that... No. They had these back then? They actually had these? Dude, I remember when goats, like, dropped for the first time. That shit was so hype, dude. Like, oh my god, look at this motherfucker. Damn, he is as stiff as a fucking board, dude. Holy shit. Are you okay? Oh, wow. We are now one. Half woman, half goat. Look at this. Goat expansion dropped. How's the educational stream? So far, it's a lot of fun, but I will say, like, I don't think being able to go inside of a goat was something that you could do back then. I think this was something that clearly needed some patching. See, now I kind of just want to explore a little bit and talk with you guys. Let's see. Now, what is all this? Wow, look at that. You know what's funny about this area? This looks like the skybox to... What is it? That world in Mario 64. I think it's not Lethal Lava Land. It's like Wet Dry World, I think. Wow. If I could seriously Sam my way across Egypt back in the present day, I would take that option. There are some days where I'm like... I don't know. There are days where I believe that if I wake up, I'm going to wake up at a different time. I wish I could make that like a reality, just so I can spend one day in a different time era. That's all I would like to experience. Not necessarily, like, what if you can do that for one day and you were completely invisible, you know? And then you can, like, interact and see things without having to temper with the ebb and flow of time. I think that would be really interesting. Thank you so much, Yoshi, for the I love you. Thank you. Some creative liberties were taken with this history. Let's see what else we got. I like when they start talking about things that I can comprehend, like a household, food, bread, wine, beer. Let's see what else we have. I think it's really cool that we get to kind of pick and choose, you know? We get to pick and choose what we want to learn. Let's see. Ancient Egyptian cultification. The hippodrome? What is the hippodrome? That's from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? I would like to witness the 2000s that way. I'd love to have seen that pop culture as it came out. Yeah, I was a child of the 2000s, so I kind of grew up with it necessarily. Leather. Let's see, the Greek pharaohs. What else is like, let's see, something. What happens when we go over here? Roman forts. The major exports of something. gladiator arena. Ooh, what is this? The Acropolis of Cyrene? The founding of Cyrene. Amulets and rituals. Crucifixion. Oh god. Let's see this. Let's see this. Again, the past is not my favorite part of the time. I was really young in the 2000s, so I don't remember much before 2005. That's exactly like me. I was a baby still in 2000s. I was a wee baby. Crucifixion. Yeah, what the fuck is this all about? Why is this such a common thing? I need to learn about this. I need to learn more about why this was so, like, who the fuck is crucifying anyone anymore? I don't think that is, you can't do that under any, like, justifiable merit.
Welcome to Crucifixion.
Crucifixion? I was saying crucifixion. Crucifixion. Welcome to Crucifixion. Welcome, child.
In terms of the severity of Roman justice, crucifixion was at the top of the list of corporal punishment, followed by death by fire and decapitation.
Oh, jeez.
The upper class considered crucifixion unworthy of their position. Those lucky enough to have Roman citizenship were also exempt from such treatment.
Okay, so basically what he said, you would get crucifixion. This was the way that they treated, like, people who were very nasty, I'm guessing. You know, the death penalty. So, I'm guessing if you did bad, if you did so bad, your ass would be on top of a cross. And honestly, if we if back then, if I heard about this, if I heard of, hey, if you steal something, we're gonna crucify your ass, that would make me so fucking terrified that I would never even contemplate or think about doing anything bad. Because the last thing that I would want to be subjugated to is being placed on a fucking crucifix. That's fucking terrifying. That is really scary. Death by fire sounds worse. Yeah. So, I think that's probably why that maybe they didn't really have a lot of, like, you know, unlawful, disgusting crime, you know, throughout this era. I mean, it definitely existed, but it was a lot less common because people just did not want to get crucified or fucking burned to death. Like, holy shit. Yeah, no thank you.
Easily accessible, crucifixions were popular entertainment among the citizenry.
Wait, what? I didn't know that man did not just say that. Did he just say that this is a popular thing? Wait a minute, so are you telling me that when people would see this, akin to like popping off in a Smash Brothers tournament, when people would see this shit and go, oh yes, like no way people were actually hyped for this shit. What kind of form of fucking entertainment is this?
Unlike throwing victims to wild animals, which required an arena, crucifixions did not require any particular setting.
They saw it as entertaining. Want to go watch someone get nails driven into their head? Let me read this again. Let me see. Easily accessible, crucifixions were a popular entertainment among the citizenry. Unlike throwing victims to wild animals, which required an arena, crucifixions did not require any particular setting. It's a little fucking twisted and bizarre, honestly. Like, I get it. I get using this as a way to punish those who've done bad. But I don't think I would be watching someone doing that and being like, oh, this is very, very highly entertaining. Someone watching somebody scream and die in agony. Things back then were wild, yeah. We've established that quite a few times now that back then there were some things that were a little bit sussy. Just a little sussy.
Those subjected to crucifixion were almost always slaves, traitors, and lower-class citizens.
Wow.
Roman deserters were crucified because the betrayal of the soldiers was perceived as endangering the lives of Roman citizens.
In a way, works as a warning. Yeah, that's exactly the point I was making. Like, if I wouldn't do my best not to go, like, not to do bad, because I don't want to be crucified, and then all these other people will see this as entertainment. That's fucking scary. Oh, jeez. Alright, let's go over here.
In 71 BCE, a major slave uprising in Italia was repressed by the Roman army. This resulted in the crucifixion of 6,000 men, including their leader, a slave and former gladiator known as Spartacus.
6,000 men? Shit. What in the fuck? You know what? You know, there are days where I'm like, you know what? See, this is exactly why I'm like, I do want to go back to this era for one day and just see how it is. And then I witness the most fucking, like, gut-wrenching, terrifying bullshit. Like, I'm starting to rethink a couple of my decisions when it comes to possibly wanting to see more. What else do we got? Wow, that's really interesting, though. That's really interesting. The first mummy. Ooh, the first mummy. Oh, ancient Egyptian medicine. I kind of want to see this. I need to see this because, once again, back then, not as, like, they didn't have the prowess we do now. That we do with it. That we have. I'm sorry if you hear that. That is a fucking ambulance. Do you hear that? Let me turn my fucking microphone up. Can you hear that shit? Oh my god. When I stream, I'm gonna go on a rant right now. I'm gonna go on another fucking rant. When I stream, throughout the entire day, nothing. When I'm not streaming, no sirens. No this, no that. Let me fix this goddamn static real quick. Close it out. I hear nothing of the sort. The moment I hit stream, immediately am I bombarded with it's just like, can I please have a day where I hit stream and there is no sirens? It's almost as if they fucking know. Hold on. Let's get this back up. Quit dying while crazy streaming out there. Exactly. Like, can you guys have like a burning building some other time, please, for me specifically? The ancient Egyptian medicine. All right, let's see. What do we got?
Welcome to ancient Egyptian medicine.
What the fuck were they using back then to mend, like, pain? To mend, like, you know, inner body, like, accidents, like, things that happen within your body? I have to know.
Evidence of advanced medical procedures have been found on mummies, and ancient Egyptians left detailed medical writings from diagnosis to follow-up treatment. One of the oldest known surgical studies is the Edwin Smith Papyrus. It's one of the first documents in history that notes an association between the integrity of the brain and cognitive functions, including cases of ocular complications and paralysis following head trauma. Vinegar-treated marble stone from Memphis was used as an anesthetic.
Dude, I would not trust anyone back in the day to fucking mend my goddamn issues with my body. That would be fucking terrifying. Papyrus? They used papyrus back then. That guy doesn't know surgery. He's gonna have a hard time. He only knows how to make spaghetti.
Another similar document, the Ebers Medical Papyrus, is over 20 meters long and 30 centimeters wide. It details treatments of 48 surgical cases and contains 877 paragraphs describing various diseases.
Wow.
Alongside accurate and factual scientific approaches, the papyrus has more than 700 magic formulas and incantations to ward off demons and disease. This demonstrates how ancient Egyptians believed in a harmonious balance between religion and science.
Wow, okay, so that's really interesting. That's really interesting to me that they kind of like, they saw like sicknesses almost as like demons. That's really interesting. They used maggots to clean wounds back then. I heard about that. Thank you so much for the bit. I definitely heard about that. Like, that's insane. I do like that a wee bit. I do like the fact that they kind of like had both religion and science kind of like mingling with one another in terms of like, oh, if you're sick, there's like, you know, some type of bad aura.
Remedies were considered as medicine and carried by doctors and priests. Village doctors often had another job alongside their medical duties and the preparation of medicines. A cure for blindness was made of fermented honey, ochre, and coal. The science behind it was that honey functioned as an antiseptic and antibacterial, while ochre would reduce the swelling. All of their knowledge did not always suffice. Ramses II died of an infection caused by an abscessed tooth.
Whoa. Wait a minute. Let me read that one more time. Let me read this one more time. A cure for blindness was made of fermented honey. Okay. All of the knowledge did not always suffice. Ramses II died of an infection caused by an abscess. I've heard about this. I heard that you can, if you have like some sort of like infection with your teeth, which is why you should brush your teeth. You need all the little antibacterial like mouthwash you can get, because you can potentially die from a really bad like tooth, which is fucking frightening. That is so scary. Like, you don't want that to happen. That's insane. Ramses II died from that. Wow, dude, I never knew about that. It can cause an infection in the bloodstream and cause cardiac arrest. Jeez. Yeah. Went to a dentist yesterday, so this is close. Oh god, I'm so sorry. Well, you should be just fine. If you regularly go to your dentist, you should be A-okay, you know? See, this is fun, because I'm learning so much shit I really, like, never retained. So, let's see, well, I learned about the geography and importance of an oasis. This. First mummy. Let's look. That dentist saved you from a fate like Ramses. Thank you, dentist, for keeping me alive. Deserts of Egypt. Not that much down here. What about over here? Let's see. Oil in ancient Egypt. Learned about the geography. See, I'm just like looking at things that make me interested. Pyramids of the Middle Kingdom. Building ancient Egypt. Workers in transport. But their knowledge wasn't perfect by any means. Oh, we've definitely have like a lot of prowess now. Like a lot of like knowledge with I would say most of our medical, our medicines, our medical people who work in the industry really go a long way. Like, we've learned so much. So, I feel very safe when it comes to that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for the mid-mile once again. Let me see. The Red Pyramid. Most of the Priestess. Major regions of Egypt. Mummies of... Ooh, yeah, I want to see this. The mummies. See, this is where I was talking about how they, like, prepare the body in such a fucking amazing way. I gotta know. I gotta know more about this. Learn about the process of mummification. Yes, let's see, dude. I'm curious.
Welcome to Mummies of Ancient Egypt.
Mummy. Let's see.
The mummification process used by ancient Egyptians was highly ceremonial in nature. The different types of mummification took into account the social level and richness of the deceased and even included animals.
Wow.
The most expensive was that reserved for the pharaoh and the royal family, as well as some of the wealthiest members of the court.
Oh my god, that is so cute. Wait. They said the different types of mummification took into account the social level and richness of the deceased, and even included animals. Oh my god. Because I remember seeing not too long ago, I forgot where I saw this, but there's a couple of kitties that are mummified. And I think that's just like the sweetest fucking thing. Like, they knew that animals were just as, like, you know, just as important as human lives to, you know, prepare their bodies when they passed along and moved from this lifetime to another. Like, they thought about that. Like, that's so cool. So nice of them. Let's see.
The first step was cleaning. Once bodies arrived at the mummification site, they were placed on inclined tables while the bodily fluids drained away. They were then cleansed by priests until they were deemed ready for the purification process.
Cats were sacred. Families more than that. Dude, I feel like that. I've had a lot of cats in my lifetime pass away, and it's always like, damn, dude. Such a little scrunkly man can bring you so much joy. And the fact that they knew, like, the fact that cats back then were so, like, highly, like, you know, praised and everything like that. I love that. You know, there are some people who don't like kitty cats, and I'm like, oh, how shallow can you be?
The purification of the body began with a libation from sacred water. The priest then fumigated the body with terebinth resin. After the ritual cleansing, priests used oils, spices, and all kinds of essences to further purify the body of the deceased, Finally, all body hair was meticulously removed.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Same with dogs, such a cruel thing they give for such a short time. Yeah, life takes away our cutest creatures so fast. The purification of the body began with... Okay. So that's what they would use to wash their skin. They would shave it all up. So basically, they would clean you in possibly the most, like, pure way that they could, so they can prep you up for the mummification, it seems like. Okay. What is this?
Once the body was properly purified, embalmers removed the organs, following very specific procedures. First, the brain was extracted by inserting a spoon through the nostril to break the ethmoid bone.
What the fuck?
Then, using a spatula, the pieces of the brain were removed as thoroughly as possible. What matter remained was extracted after a process of liquefaction, achieved through the use of a caustic liquid. The cranial box, once emptied, was rinsed and disinfected with palm wine, and then stuffed with strips of linen cloth and liquefied resin.
Oh god, okay. Trigger warning here, guys. We're gonna be getting to some gory stuff, so... Oh my god. No fucking shit. Wait, let me read that again. Hold on. First, the brain was extracted by inserting a spoon through the nostril to break the ethmoid bone? What the fuck is that? I didn't realize we had that. Then, using a spatula, the pieces of the brain were removed as... Oh, Jesus. Okay. I mean, unfortunately, they're already passed away, so thank God they don't feel that. What was that?
After taking care of the brain, embalmers made an incision on the left flank and carefully set aside the viscera. The inside of the body was also rinsed with palm wine. Then the embalmers filled the belly with pure myrrh, cinnamon, and other perfumes, and sewed it shut.
Fumes.
The removed viscera were washed in palm wine and packed in crushed herbs before being placed in canopic jars.
Okay, so that is a really unique looking device. Look, you can see, like, I think that's one of the ancient, like, gods that's sitting right on that thing. Oh, that's insane. Getting to the AD stuff, but not too sure. But yeah. The bone between the nasal cavity and the brain. Oh, that's so scary. How easy is it to break? You can just put a spoon up your nose and break it, apparently. That's fucking terrifying to me.
Canopic jars were placed close to the sarcophagus or kept in a chest nearby. At first, the viscera were wrapped in tissue and placed in the vases. As the ritual requirements became more elaborate, ointments, spices, and even water and natron were added to the process.
The Egyptians believed the brain was worthless while the other organs were stored in canopic jars. Wow. Okay. Who are these little guys? I love these little guys here. Oh, here we go.
Towards the middle of the New Kingdom, canopic jars assumed the appearance of the 4 sons of Horus. They were known as the protectors of the viscera.
What?
These protectors had their own guardians, each a goddess of the dead. Imseti, the human-headed god, protected the liver and was protected by the goddess Iset. Hapi, the baboon-headed god, protected the lungs and was protected by the goddess Nephthys.
Wow, okay.
Dumut-Ef, the jackal-headed god, protected the stomach and was protected by the goddess Neith. And finally, Kebesenuef, the falcon-headed god, protected the intestines and was protected by the goddess Selket.
No shit. That is insane to me. Okay, so there was like a god protecting each and every like part of the... Wow. I like that. Like, once again, I'm just astounded by the amount of like I know I probably sound like a broken record saying this, but seriously, they gave a fuck. You know? I mean, I'm pretty sure practices like this still exist. I don't think they're completely gone, but back then it was such a prevalent way of life. You know? Like, I would never think to do this to someone within my family, you know, that had passed away. I just wish we had these kind of like practices still. What's this?
Natron is a naturally occurring mineral found in evaporite. These sedimentary rocks are made up of mineral salts and were generally mined from lake beds in Egypt.
Kesewinowef is quite a mouthful. Kesewinowef? Is that how you say it? Say that right now, chat. In your room right now, if you're listening, say that. Kebesewinowef. Is that how you say it? How did the ladies say it? How did the nice ladies say it? Let's listen. Let's listen again.
Towards the middle of the New Kingdom, Canopic
I gotta hear
jars
this.
assumed the appearance of the 4 sons of Horus. They were known as the protectors
Because when I
of the
see that, I
viscera.
see
These
Kesewinowef.
protectors had their own guardians, each a goddess of the dead. Imseti, the human-headed god,
Imseti, that's
protected the
easy to say.
liver and was protected by the goddess Iset. Happy, the
That's the easiest
baboon-headed
one,
god,
too.
protected the lungs and was protected by the goddess Nephthys. Dumutef, the jackal-headed god, protected the
Dumutef.
stomach and was protected by the goddess Neith.
Dumutef.
And finally, Kebesenowef, the
Kebesenowef. I
falcon-headed
did kind
god,
of say it right a
protected
little
the
bit.
intestines and was protected by the goddess Selket.
Interesting names. Interesting names. I kind of butchered it. It is a really confusing name, but it's really cool too.
Embalmers used natron as a desiccant to dry the flesh and stop the corpse's putrefaction process.
Ooh.
Once the body was cleansed and eviscerated, the deceased was covered in natron for about 40 days. Once desiccated, the body was prepared to be wrapped in strips of linen.
Oh, let me see. Wait. Oh my god, look at that. Is so grisly looking. Embalmers use natron as a I don't know how to say that, to dry the flesh and stop the corpse's putrefaction process. Putrefaction? Oh, even saying that sounds gross. Putrefaction. I mean, not... I mean, yeah, it stopped it a little bit, but of course, like, a body, it will rot either way. I think this was the best way that they could, like, make a body, you know, at least resemble somewhat of what they used to look like.
Once the body was fully desiccated by the natron treatment, embalmers oiled, painted, and sometimes even added hair extensions or a wig. They often used a henna-based antiseptic preparation to give the body a more colorful and lively appearance while preparing it to resist molds and fungi.
Okay, so they definitely gave a lot of, like, thought and care. There's a lot of effort put behind all of this.
Next came the phase which gave mummies their most well-known appearance. The wrapping. Originally, each part of the body was wrapped separately. Men had their arms crossed on their chests, while women had the right arm folded over their breasts and the left arm stretched along the body. However, techniques evolved over time. Eventually, the body as a whole was wrapped with limbs alongside the body, and increasingly sophisticated and different techniques of weaving flax bands were developed.
Okay. Oh, look at that guy. Oh my goodness, look at them. Crazy.
In addition to the jewelry and amulets arranged on the skin of the deceased, amulets were also carefully inserted into the weaving of the linen strips. Each amulet was linked to a myth or to an ideological belief related to rebirth.
Okay. I just don't know what the fuck is going on. Yeah, we are learning about the mummification process of bodies when they were deceased back in the Egyptian era.
Masks were an important part of a mummy's finery. Early wooden funeral coverings were very expensive, however, and soon replaced by masks created through a technique known as cartonnage. Masks fashioned with this method were created by laying several layers of linen or papyrus pulp on a base made of mud or straw.
Pause. Sorry, let me fix this weird fuzz issue again. I cannot stand that issue. Let me boot it right back up. Mummify Crazy Stream 1. I mean, technically, you can already do that right now if you really want to. If you really wanted to, you could do that. I'm already kind of dead, so. Papyrus. Yeah, when they say papyrus, I cannot get his Face. You know who I'm talking about. Out of my mind.
Cartonnage was used for more than funerary masks. Ornaments and the animal coffins of the late period were also made in such a fashion.
Damn. See, there's something so scary about this kind of stuff. Like, as cool as it is, like, just the prospect of it existing alone is kind of terrifying.
Cartonnage evolved to cover the entire body of the mummy during the 22nd dynasty. The mummies were placed on a board inside a rigid envelope of cartonnage, which was laced at the back with a string. Extremely cost-effective and visually pleasing, this technique was very popular through all layers of the society.
What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. Holy shit. What the fuck? Oh my god. What is
Cartonnage envelopes were usually covered with inscriptions and polychrome decorations, specifying the names and titles of the deceased, scenes depicting daily life, or decorations specific to the funerary world. This was a true gift for Egyptologists eager to study the funerary rites of the ancient Egyptians.
See, like, this is the one thing about this era that I always found, like, when I see these scriptures, when I see these paintings, these drawings, if you will, they always bring me a sense of dread, but also like a sense of interest. Like, I'll never understand what they mean, but I can only just witness them. And there's not a lot of things in this lifetime that you can say that about. So that's why I really enjoy the kind of work that they put in to the walls, to the deceased, to all sorts of monoliths that they created back then.
Once the mummy was properly wrapped and adorned, the embalmers proceeded with the ceremony of the opening of the mouth. A vital step of the funerary process, this ceremony was meant to bring back to life the deceased themselves, or an object representing the deceased.
Okay. Me preparing to scoop your brain out with this spoon. I don't have a brain.
There were no less than 75 different stages for the opening of the mouth. It required the application of the same oils, ointments, spices, and perfumes used during the mummification process. Makeup was sometimes part of the process as well.
Alright. And what is this?
The last stage of this long ritual was the act of touching the mouth with the adze to symbolically allow the breath of life to infuse an inert body.
Wow.
Its performance was reserved for a very specific set of people. Priests who wore the mask of the god Anubis, a close relative of the family, or by the heir to the throne.
It's interesting. I think it's even more interesting to me that these drawings exist that kind of represent the process as well. Incredible. Wow. After every little thing that we learn, like after every little like class that we finish here, it is legitimately like, whoa. Like I have a lot to think about. I like that. I wonder if there are world tours like this in VR chat. Oh, could you fucking imagine that? Could you actually imagine that? If there are if VR chat had like educational things like this, oh my god, that would be all over it. I think we should probably do maybe one more before we head out for today. I think 2 hours of learning together is probably more than, yeah, we're almost at our 3-hour mark actually. So let's make this one a good one. Let's learn one more class. Let's see. The riddles of the riddles of the Sphinx. Khufu, the secrets of the Great Pyramid. The fauna of ancient Egypt. Multiplication. VR chat tour, but its process of making a fursuit. Holy shit. Let's see this one. What's this one? The Riddles of the Shrieks. VR chat tour, but you experience what happens in history. You're in your VR headset for more than 8 years. You already did that one too. Yo, Hasha Savvy, thank you so much for the I love you. Let's see what's down here. What's down here in this area? Temples and Priestess. Major regions of Egypt. First pyramid. That pyramid. What's up down here? Building an ancient pyramid. Workers and transport. Pyramids of the Middle Kingdom. Oil. Let's do this one. Workers and transport. Will we see Mario at the Sphinx? I don't think Mario is. Do they have Italians way back in the BCE era? I found a museum world that showed a bunch of impressive shaders to rendering techniques. What? You gotta share that with me sometime. Okay, workers and transport. This will be our last class, our last session for today, chat. And then I think I might end stream until tomorrow. So why don't we begin this one?
Welcome to Workers and Transport. Whether workers were employed for the pyramid construction or at the quarries, the government supplied food and housing. Workers for the pyramids and royal necropolises were housed in more permanent villages, such as the famous Deir el-Medina. Quarry workers had more temporary lodgings. All skill levels were needed and utilized, from basic work hands to prepare the gypsum, to brickmakers and sand carriers, to skilled stonemasons to shape the blocks.
Okay, so it looks like they were properly housed and given, like, you know, the correct amount of, like, housing for people who would work. Okay. That's good.
Skilled architects and engineers were employed year-round, while support labor were often farmers who worked on the quarries or construction during the Nile's flood season. The basic laborers were hardworking and versatile. Many may have been farmers who joined the construction during the off-season. Hieroglyphs found in the work villages listed assigned job titles.
I remember during a history class, the teacher decided that instead of working like usual, we used Assassin's Creed Origins to learn stuff about the Minotaur and shit. Yeah, I think this is exactly why this mode exists, because it's that goddamn educational. I think that's really cool.
Archaeological research shows that no food was stored or prepared on site, but instead workers received abundant rations of bread, beer, and meat. These rations were taken care of by an administration outside the village. Medical treatment was also available for those who were injured.
Okay, so far, I'm not really, like, they take care of their workers, it appears to be. Not too sure if that's necessarily a bad thing, but it seems like they give at least an ounce of a shit about the people if they're injured, and if they need to eat food, they need them, obviously, well.
While some quarries were close to the Nile, others were located across the desert and required long expeditions.
Oh,
These
jeez,
expeditions were sanctioned by the state.
This looks tough,
They involved
dude.
complex logistics and required many participants.
Oh my goodness.
Transporting a block by land meant that workers had to overcome the weight and friction of the load. To solve this, they first dug a track in the ground. This path was sometimes reinforced with rails upon which a sled, used to ferry the blocks, would be pulled.
Oh my god. See, I'm like, oh, they take care of, like, their workers, and they give them the proper food and the treatment in the house, and then you see what the fuck they are doing and trade for that. Like, Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, I know that's gonna hurt your back and more, son. Oh my god.
Whenever possible, blocks were toppled from a higher elevation onto the sled. Workers then poured water onto the clay at the front of the sled, creating a slick surface to more easily move the load. It wasn't until the New Kingdom that animals were used to tow the burden.
That makes me wonder. That makes me wonder why, you know? They're gonna need that food for this sort of labor, exactly. It wasn't until the New Kingdom that animals were used to tow the burden. Is it because they they nurtured and cared for animals so much that they saw it maybe as a bad thing to treat animals in that way. Like, this is just insane to me that they would have humans doing this. Like, oof, it's so different now. So different.
During flood season, the Nile was at its largest and deepest, which allowed the transportation of the heaviest and biggest loads. Quarries close to the river had troughs dug out to deliver the stones to the shoreline. Harbors and wharfs situated at the river's edge allowed the transfer of materials and supplies. Harbor warehouses accommodated additional stocks of stone so that they were available for the winter sailing season.
These guys thought of everything. Like, oh my goodness. Okay.
The Uwadi el-Jarf papyri detail a limestone load intended for the Khufu pyramid that weighed in at 70 to 80 tons, or 30 blocks. One papyrus is a fragment from a foreman's notes taken while working on the Great Pyramid. It details the transportation of limestone blocks from the Tura quarries to the construction site of the pyramid. The other papyri are shipping logs containing archives of the sailors assigned to sail the Red Sea and the Nile.
Will this be on the test? Yes, yes, it will be. It will be on the goddamn test. I hope you're ready to have a 30-page exam, an essay by the end of the stream. I hope you've been writing down, Sean. I hope you've been writing. It's our last lesson for today, so here we go.
Stone cargo generally weighed 15 tons per boat, amounting to roughly 6 or 7 blocks per trip. For heavier loads such as obelisks, monolithic pillars, or gigantic statues, larger boats were used. These transports are the ones typically showcased on temple walls.
MLA or APA format. Yes, one more thing, and then I'm gonna be testing you guys. Here we go.
River transportation was the most efficient way to ferry stone blocks between the quarry and the construction site. Blocks were transported by flotillas of several types of boats.
Tortillas?
The most detailed illustration of transport by river is a relief of Queen Hatshepsut's barge with an accompanying flotilla.
Well, there we go. Tour complete. I have to say, like, my goodness. I do want to mention to you guys, let's go somewhere nice. I think the most beautiful area in this game, so we can... I think it's right here. Definitely where's Cleopatra's, like, I think it's over here. This is so pretty in this era. Let's click this. It was interesting. I feel like... I think it is really nice to see that the workers were at the very least were treated well, were given the proper sustenance for a work environment that definitely needed it. I mean, the way that they were moving a goddamn gigantic fucking brick with a string, like with rope attached to it, like, jeez. These guys were quite literally slaved at the work. I feel so bad, it's so terrifying, but at the same time, I mean, you see these structures and the way that everything was built like that, you gotta admit, it's beautiful. It's so sad, but it's so interesting, and it's all the great things about this era. I had a lot of fun playing this. Seriously, we learned so much today. Crazy, the only person who can make learning fun. See, the thing is, like, being able to learn with you guys is just as fun. Because we're learning together. Like, I'm able to sit down here and, like, you know, if I see something weird or I think something strange, and I get to have you guys to bump off, and we all learn something at the end of the day. Which is really sick. Thank you so much, Reading Skills, for the I love you. I think what we're gonna do right now is probably head on out, but before, of course, I do that, I am, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna, what is that? You know what? No, we're switching rooms. Where's my room? Where's my throne room? Come here. Alright, ASMR is fucking over. ASMR is over. Wait, let me in. There I am. Hi, where is my, I'm gonna look at you guys. Hi, let me put on the music. ASMR stream is finally over. Oh my god. That was fun. I gotta say, that was a really good time, in my opinion. All caps mode crazy. Sir, don't scream. I mean, I can scream it right now. The Scream Room. This was fun. And honestly, we need to do more things like this. Like, legitimately had a fuck ton of fun. Like, the thing is, I feel like I learn better. I learn a lot more when... Let's just down a wee bit. I definitely learn a lot more when I'm with an environment setting where I feel comfortable in. I feel like when I have a question or if I think I feel a bit silly, it feels nice to have, you know, other people who are also feeling the same exact way that I do. Where I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this. Like, oh, that's weird. Then I can like look at chat and be like, guys, is that weird too? And then of course you guys are like, yes, that is weird. It just feels nice to have that reassurance, you know. This, of course, guys, is Assassin's Creed Origins. If you liked what you saw, you can get this game free on the Xbox Game Pass, which is also on PC. And if you want to get more in depth yourself, you can play it for free. Essentially, this is a mode that you could immediately play, so if you're not interested in playing the violent like nature of the base game, which is also, albeit, a lot of fun, very cool, you could have a whole discovery mode to yourself. So it's almost like 2 games in 1 in that sense. So if you really want to go and do your own thing and kind of explore more of this really fascinating era, you totally can. So I would recommend that you pick this game up. I think Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, also has it, which is, I believe, the Greek Roman era, if I am not mistaken. And I think Valhalla kind of has like the same thing. I think it's really cool that Ubisoft, I know they make some questionable choices within their industry, to say the least, but they have a good sense of being able to respectfully show off and curate a different era that is long past since gone in a really respectful and nice way for us to learn. I think that's really cool. Thank you for streaming, Krazy. First time I've seen them able to stick around for the whole stream in a long while. Thank you for joining me, Jayla. Jayla, thank you so much for, you know, being a friend. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being so sweet. For joining your king, as always, for making me feel good. And, of course, for always making these streams 100% worth it at the end of the day. Thank you so much. We're not going to have an outro, because I do want to kind of relax just a wee bit more here. But what we are going to do is see who we can raid, so I can pass on the love and pass on and see who that's me. That's my voice. I don't need to hear myself. Oh, big stretch. Yeah, I could do a big stretch for you. Wait, hold on. Let me do one of these. Hold on. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, wait. Oh. Thank you for, yeah, I needed that. I don't think I got one stretch during that stream, so I definitely thank you. All right, let's see who we can raid, who is alive, who is well right now. Our good brother Roshan is playing Celeste. They're playing Celeste right now. Why don't we give them a nice hello? I think you guys told me that Celeste is a really fun game, so I will probably stick around in their chat for a bit to see what this game has to offer. So we're gonna raid Roshan, give them a flex for post for the fans, because they are a really lovely person, super sweet, super awesome. And thank you once again, chat, for sticking around, chilling with your means, chilling with your king, and making this fun. This was a fun learning stream. And I would recommend, there are also all sorts of documentaries on YouTube about Egypt that do a far more in-depth analysis of certain things. So if you like what you saw tonight, then feel free to watch more stuff of that on YouTube or pick up the game yourself. See you tomorrow, big boy. I will likely become a regular. It would be nice to have you. It would be so nice to have you, my good friend. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining, and I will see you soon. Same time, same place, same stream. Okay, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Yeah, I'll do one more stretch for you guys. I'll do one more stretch. I love you guys. Bye bye. See you later.